It has been for the past few weeks. It's caused a lot of debate in Scottish football. So it's our first commentary match of the day. It is St Mirren against Rangers. We've got a busy one for you right through until 8:30 this evening. 3 live commentaries, open all mics, and every goal from right across the country. Let's then get to Paisley. St Mirren against Rangers with Neil McCann and Alistair Lamont.
Thanks very much, Kenny. Welcome to the SMiSA Stadium in Paisley this Saturday lunchtime. St Mirren and Rangers prepare for their final game before the World Cup shutdown. The pressure remains on Rangers despite a midweek win. A 7-point deficit on Celtic already looks a tall order to claw back. Giovanni van Bronckhorst simply cannot afford for it to increase over the course of today. St Mirren with a terrific home record this season. There will be no pushovers, looking to stretch their unbeaten record here to 8 games and push themselves into the top half of the league. A very mild November afternoon in Paisley, has to be said. Grey skies overhead, still day though, no wind as we've had over the last couple of days, so looks like good conditions for a game of football as both sides begin to congregate around the centre circle on this period where we remember those who have fallen in various conflicts. And St Mirren have got a lone piper in the middle of the park who will play a lament ahead of a moment's silence which will be observed to remember those who lost their lives.
We thank you, we salute you, and we salute those who made the ultimate sacrifices for our freedom. We will never forget, we will remember you. May I ask if you stand, if you're fit to do so, for a moment of reflection, while the lone piper Michael Kerr plays the flower of the florist, which begins on the referee's whistle.
A very poignant rendition of Flowers of the Forest there ahead of kick-off. It will be Rangers to get us underway. Ryan Kent inside the centre circle as Rangers, who will go from right to left as we look at it from the back of the main stand at the SMiSA Stadium in their traditional blue shirts, white shorts, black and red socks. St Mirren in their black and white stripes, white shorts, white socks. We're underway and the ball's immediately out of play over on the far side. The visiting fans away to our right, as Leanne mentioned. They only have the one stand here now in Paisley. A decision taken by the home club. They might lose out a little bit on revenue, but feels less like a home game for Rangers and previously Celtic when they lost here as well. Can St Mirren use that to their advantage? It's not forward by Fraser, but away by Barisic. Lundstrom into the middle of the park for Kamara. He was on his heels. O'Hara wins it, gets it back from Main. O'Hara goes for goal, quickly closed down by Leon King. St Mirren look to start on the front foot, led by their captain Mark O'Hara, and Neil McCann epitomising what St Mirren are going to try and do.
Yeah, I love big Mark O'Hara. I think he's been absolutely terrific for St Mirren. Really like him as a player. Can play in so many positions, Al, but he's so effective as an attacking force. And you can see there he's very aggressive. It was a real dangerous ball, playing a square pass from Lundstrom, and he was on it in a flash.
Throw in on the left-hand side for St Mirren, 10 yards from the corner flag. In it comes. Main and Tavernier contest it. It'll come to the edge of the penalty area, and then Wright tries to get it clear, and it will be a free kick to Rangers. Sands was caught there, I think, by Ayunga as he tried to clear, and Ayunga has also hurt himself in making that challenge, and it will be a free kick to Rangers.
Yeah, it's one of those ones that, I mean, you could look at it both ways. Sands is about to clear it. Ayunga just puts his foot in to steal the ball, and Sands takes him out. I mean, there was shouts from both ends there for a free kick.
The free kick goes the way of the visitors, but St Mirren starting positively in the game, trying to cause concern in the defence of Rangers, which has not been firing on all cylinders, I think it's fair to say, over the course of this season. Morelos flicks it on for Wright at the other end, and it's going to be a corner kick to Rangers. An early one. They had dozens of free corner kicks last weekend at McDermott Park, Neil, but they couldn't make anything of them. It's so important that Rangers, from their perspective, start this game and get on the front foot and get a goal.
Do you know something, Al? Yeah, you're right, but you need to do something with your corner kicks. Delivery needs to be right, but some clever movement is also there. I just watch Rangers sometimes and they're really static.
Tavernier from the right hand side, out swinger to the edge of the 6-yard box. It's not back out to the far side to Tavernier and Wright. Here's Kamara. Tavernier once more, right hand side, swings another cross. It's a good looking ball. Lundstrom attacks it, but it's not behind by Gallagher. It'll be another Rangers corner, this time on the left hand side. Tillman looking to try and take it quickly. He does so to Kent. Kent knocks it back to Barisic. Barisic takes a touch and then plays it back to Tillman, still left hand side, looking for Kent inside the penalty area. It's just off target, and St Mirren are able to sweep the ball over the halfway line.
Slack there from Tillman, because it's a good opportunity. It was 3v2, took it quick. Tell you, just a couple of moments before, Declan Gallagher, top class defending, because it was a wicked cross from James Tavernier. Lundstrom had made up the box at the back post, and it was well cleared with. But I think it's been a bright start from Rangers. I think that area in between the wing backs and the outside centre backs will be crucial for St Mirren, to close the gaps up and don't allow Wright and Kent in particular to get in between there.
Free kick to St Mirren for the challenge by Kamara on Kiltie in the centre circle. Almost 4 minutes played, 0-0. As Gallagher stands just inside his own half over this free kick. Alfredo Morelos in close proximity. Gallagher knocks it up towards the edge of the penalty area. Ayunga's up there. He's beaten though in the jump by King. And then Scott Wright just hammers it off Scott Tanser over on the far side. It will be a throw into Rangers deep in their own territory. Tavernier to take it on the score sheet again last weekend to bring his side back into the game at McDermott, but it wasn't enough as they failed to defeat Main. Gets his head to the ball. Here's Kiltie, goes down at the edge of the penalty area. Rangers get it clear. Claims for the home fans that there was an infringement there. Play continues. Looked to be just on the edge of the penalty area, so I'm not sure if that would come under a VAR check.
It's not a free kick for me, Al. I mean, he's really positive, gets a head on it, but he's on the way down. He's fallen to the floor before there's anywhere near any contact. But the problem is that we were speaking about before the game, players will shout immediately because hoping that someone will have a look at it.
Just to let you know, the VAR today is Andrew Dallas, who was also the VAR in that Livingston Aberdeen game on Tuesday, and he flagged up 3 eventual penalties for handball as Barisic swings the ball deep, headed it back into the penalty area. Tillman lays it down for Tavernier. Lundstrom might just get onto it. Kiltie though robs him on the edge of the penalty area. Good challenge from Tillman though to win it back. Lundstrom now, left hand side is Barisic. Barisic, low ball in, knocked away at the near post there by Strain. St Mirren fans wanted a free kick for the challenge of Tillman, but it's Still Rangers on the attack. It's Kent with a couple of step overs, gets to the goal line, knocks it across goal, strains there once more, and then Kilty completes the clearance up to Ayunga. Sands slips, Ayunga's away from him. Main trying to get on the end of the pass. Kamara going back to try and live with him. Main just couldn't take it in his stride. He's forced out to the left hand side. Still here's possession though, knocks it back to Tanser, midway inside the Rangers half, lifts ahead, puts the corner into the penalty area. Sands gets his head to it, out to the left of the box it comes. O'Hara there before Barisic, can't keep it in play though, and it will be a Rangers throw-in. But Sands almost putting his side in trouble there, Neil, and if the pass for Main, I mean, I don't know if it was just too much in the pass or if Main couldn't control it, but it was a real opening.
Yeah, I think the pass was maybe on just to bend it into the space, allow Curtis Main to go and drive, because I think he had the jump on Kamara. But this surface is traditionally quite a firm surface, Al, and when there's grease on top it can provide a little bit of trouble for footing sometimes, and particularly for defenders.
I've seen Sands though find problems with keeping his footing, and
well, do you know what, sometimes he gets too tight to people, Al, and he gets rolled a lot of times.
That's good play from Tillman, edge of the penalty, and he goes for goal, just wide.
Got to score.
Oh, he's well engineered by Tillman. Little nutmeg on the edge of the penalty area, won him the space, but then it opens up for him 18 yards out, and he drags the shot wide of Trevor Carson's right hand post, and it remains with 7 minutes on the clock. St Mirren 0, Rangers 0.
Got to score, honestly. The ball into him's good. He takes up a nice little position. He likes contact, Tillman. Rolls the challenge. He's got the whole goal to steer at. That's almost like a finishing exercise you would do, because he's central. He can pick his spot, and he just gets too much coverage on it. He just tries to reverse it by Trevor Carson, and he should hit the target at the very least, but I think he should score.
Nudge in the back there by Strain on Kent. Free kick to Rangers down in front of us, down in front of the VAR screen, which is just obviously pitch side beneath us here, as Tavernier picks up right hand side, just crosses the halfway line, the Rangers captain. Down the line it goes for Kamara, loose pass from him, just tried the little flicks at Mirren pick up. Tavernier in to try and win it back. Kevin Clancy says no, that'll be a free kick to St Mirren, just inside their own half. And it's a couple of times already Kamara, who's on, as I say, a rare start, has just been a little bit loose in possession. Here's Ayunga on the goal lines, he kept it in, the Rangers fans behind the goal didn't think so. Play continues, Rangers win it back. Tavernier picks up edge of his own penalty area and just touches it to right.
Well, I was just about to say, these two strikers, Ayunga and Main, will absolutely stretch Rangers, so they're being aggressive. The two fullbacks are high. Lundstrom's got a really big job today, I believe, just to provide a little bit of extra cover for the two centre-backs, because these guys will run channels, they'll come short, they'll mix it up.
Erahan wins it from Tillman in the middle of the park. Ayunga up against King, he's spun him, and forward comes Ayunga and then slips it to the left hand side. O'Hara will just have to divert his run, out to the left it goes. Kamara trying to stay with him. Wright comes across the cover as well. The deep ball from O'Hara's got too much on it. Out for a goal kick to Rangers. I was just thinking, you just when you talk about the two strikers, I thought their eyes will light up when they see that the back two, if you like, the central two of Rangers are King and Sands, who are good players but not the most physical, and those two strikers will really rumble them up.
Well, just without being disrespectful, they're not going to strike fear in it. The two strikers are not really established. I'll just let this play develop out.
Yeah, Morelos takes it in the chest, but then knocks it out of play, so carry on.
Yeah, they're not really well established, big, aggressive, notable centre-back. Sands is a converted one from centre midfield. King is doing remarkably well for a young lad, but he's still learning his trade, so you're absolutely spot on. Ayunga's already shown that he's got the strength for King, likes the contact, as does Main. And this is a pairing that will get support from Kilty and O'Hara, so Rangers have got their work cut out today.
Handball by Main just inside the Rangers half. It'll be a free kick taken by Lundstrom. 9.5 minutes on the clock, no goals in Paisley in this early kick-off. 4 3 o'clock kick-offs to come, including Celtic against Ross County, which will be live with us here on Sports Sound. Open all mics will cover the rest of the games in the Premiership and all the best of the rest of the action. And then the Aberdeen Dundee United game, which is sure to be tasty at Pittodrie from 6 o'clock. Also live with us here on Sports Sound on BBC Sounds, Radio Scotland Extra, digital 8-1-0 medium wave and online as Morelos lays it off to Kent. Oh, he's stepped away from Gallagher beautifully. He's got Morelos outside of him to the left. That's where it goes. Heavy touch from Morelos, and across comes Strain to cover indeed.
Yeah, it's Marcus Fraser actually how it comes across, and he's so comfortable because he's a fullback to trade. He's playing in that right of a 3, and he's really able to get himself into that fullback area to cover if Strain gets caught out, just what he did there. Read danger and mopped up very well. It was a heavy touch from Morelos nonetheless. But just the way this St Mirren midfield are operating, if Kamara's smart when they're building it from the left and he comes really into a central position, he'll drag Ahara, who's playing left of a 3, right in there. If Scott Wright gets high with Tanser, that'll open it up for Tavernier. There's ways to get at St Mirren, but equally it's a tactical battle with a different formation deal. St Mirren are well capable of giving Rangers trouble, as you've already seen.
Carson's free kick headed away by Tavernier, returned by Erhan. Tavernier and Main go across to the far side, the St Mirren left, and it's Main who gathers. Back he goes to his captain Mark O'Hara, who's got a couple of goals in his last 2 games. Here's Tanser now, forced back the way by Wright, all the way back, and then Morelos and Dunn coming together in the middle of the park. Morelos just shoving him away there as Carson picks up and knocks it long, too long for Main, who points towards Ayunga as if to say, aim for him, will you? And Tavernier picks up on McGregor's clearance. Kamara now slides it forward for Morelos. Angle of the box, goes for goal, off target from the Colombian. And it remains goalless with almost 12 minutes played. St Mirren 0, Rangers 0.
Really nice pass from Kamara, good pace on it. It's that area where I identified before the game, just in between left centre-back or right centre-back and the wing-backs. That's the space that Morelos will look to peel into, or one of the wingers. And listen, if he's going to beat Trevor Carson from that angle, then it'll be pretty special. Didn't quite catch it right, too much flight on the ball, but a good pass from Kamara. I believe that's an area that they can exploit, Rangers.
It's over Main and Tavernier from Carson, and King goes across, picks up and plays it square to Sands inside his own half. Now it's Barisic, left hand side, straight out of play though from the man who'll be with Croatia at the World Cup. 2 or 3 players on view today who will be in action hopefully there, and Keanu Bacchus of St Mirren, who's on the bench today. Ryan Strain just missing out in that Australia World Cup squad, and Stephen Robinson admitting how disappointed he has been to not get the call. But a number of Scottish-based players will be in attendance in Qatar. Our attention will turn in the next couple of weeks. McGregor knocks it out to Tavernier over on the far side. 13 played, no goals in Paisley. It's Lundstrom plays it out onto Barisic. Barisic crosses the halfway line for Kent. Looks to get away from Strain, but he's well matched by the young Australian. And it goes back the way to Sands. Sands sweeps it out to the far side, the Rangers right to Tavernier. One touch and over the halfway line he goes, up to Kamara. Kamara tries to slip it up towards right, just outside the penalty area. Has there been a slip there? Right into the penalty area he goes, tries to cut it back there for Morelos, coming back to Kamara, right hand side, takes a touch, looking to find a teammate. Tillman comes off his man, couldn't get the shot away though. St Mirren managed to clear their lines.
Yeah, really big block there as the ball was cut back from Kamara onto Tillman. Not quite sure who it was that made the challenge. Maybe Charles Dunn, maybe Marcus Fraser.
Yeah, I think it might have been Fraser again as Tavernier gets an early ball in. Morelos is in there, but good goalkeeping by Trevor Carson.
Really
brave goalkeeping at the feet of Morelos at the edge of his 6-yard box to gather and immediately sets St Mirren off on a 40 forward, but there goes James Sands to cut the ball out. Morelos eventually picking himself up from inside the penalty area. He was foiled there by Trevor Carson. 14 minutes in, no goals. 7-0, Rangers 0.
Alistair, you're right, very brave from the goalkeeper. A wicked cross from James Tavernier, just dipping as it got to the 6-yard box. Morelos is closing in, and I tell you, he's not slowing any. Trevor Carson diving at the feet.
That's Barisic into the feet of Morelos, edge of the penalty area. Doesn't quite manage to keep possession. Strain back there to his goalkeeper. Trevor Carson, all in pink, lashes it over the halfway line, looking for Ayunga. King just matches him well, doesn't allow him any room to manoeuvre, and it goes over both of them and through to Alan McGregor. Tavernier picks up.
I was just watching Carson's body language there, Alistair. That's an area where they're trying to, although it looks like a big punt up the pitch, it's not. He's trying to drop that into Ayunga or Curtis Main in behind the gap of the Rangers midfield.
Here's Kent, left hand side, Barisic on the overlap. Clips it towards the back post. A good ball. Header
What
comes
a
in
save
from
that
right,
is.
and that is a tremendous save from Trevor Carson. As Scott Wright looked sure to score at the back post, the downward header blocked away by the keeper. Still Rangers come. It's Tillman out to right on the right hand side. A poor pass from Tillman in the end, and that'll be cleared away by St Mirren up towards Ayunga. Back to O'Hara it goes, infield for Kiltie. Kiltie pressurised by Kent, he's done well. Tillman picks up for Rangers now. Kamara can't get away though. There's a late challenge coming in on Tillman though. It'll be pulled back for the Rangers free kick. But let's go back to the Scott Wright header, and more importantly for St Mirren, the Trevor Carson save.
What a save, because he'll be across his front post area when Barisic is standing it up. I mean, it's a beautiful cross, and Tanzer thinks he's got it, but he doesn't quite judge the flight of the ball. It's so good towards the back post, and Scott Wright powers a header down. He comes in really well from the wide area, but what a great stop, because he then has to scramble across Trevor Carson and gets down low. Maybe his legs that stopped it, maybe, I'm not sure.
Could well have been. Here comes Barisic getting on the end of another Kent pass, left hand side, swings it back post once more. Again Wright rises, Tillman and Dunn go for it, both hit the deck. No free kick given either way, and then a sliding challenge comes in from James Sands.
I'm not sure the difference of both challenges. I think Dunn gets the ball there, it takes Tillman out with the contact. Sands the same, very similar challenges. Kevin Clancy decides to give the free kicks at Mirren's way, but I didn't think it was a penalty. I thought Charles Dunn did win the ball cleanly when it came into the box. But again, Barisic, as we see him so often last season, getting into really good areas, his quality is very, very good. That was a deep cross again to the back post, and when it was knocked down, thought Tillman was going to step onto it, but Charles Dunn so alive in the challenge.
James Sands getting a talking to from Kevin Clancy, nothing more. Cerdine Idsands, our pitch side reporter, and has had a view of a replay of the incident. Cerdine?
Yeah, just to say, Neil's pretty much spot on with both the incidents he's just been talking about. First of all, Charles Dunn did get his knee to the ball there before the collision with Sands, so no penalty and no need to have a look at that whatsoever. And then that save, the Trevor Carson save, it was indeed the right knee of Carson that kept the ball out from Scott Wright's header there. Last time I was here, the goalie was man of the match in a game against Kilmarnock. It looks like he might be busy again today.
Forward comes St Mirren. Sands though knocks it back to McGregor, who said little to do in these early stages, but Rangers, as we saw last weekend, Neil started brightly at McDermott Park, couldn't turn their dominance into goals, and ultimately paid for it.
I mean, Alan McGregor's strip was spotless, and then the first thing he's got to do is pick the net out, or pick the ball at the net.
Barisic finds Tillman inside the penalty. It's a good take, it's a great ball. Tillman across goal. He's entitled to think there might have been a Rangers player in there. There wasn't, and Scott Tanzer at the end.
White players for Rangers do not get into the back post area enough. Scott Wright has done in this game, but he's just sleeping a little bit there because Tillman fizzed a brilliant ball across.
Here is Wright back to Kamara, right hand side, infield to Lundstrom. It goes Ayunga trying to get to him. Pass goes to Sands and then back to Lundstrom, and it's Barisic once more who's put 2 or 3 really inviting balls into the penalty area already this afternoon, as Kent tries to get the better of Strain down the Rangers left. Good play though from the Australian wing back, and he wins it and then tries to feed Main. Sands there ahead of him though, just knocks it back to his goalkeeper Alan McGregor. Been a bright start to the game.
Been a good, a real good start. I think St Mirren had a little spell early on. Rangers, you can see, is just starting to enjoy a bit of dominance of the ball, possession, getting into good areas. I think the game's been played at a really good tempo. Tillman has been a mixed bag, but he's been so involved in the match so early. I mean, he's sometimes he frustrates Alistair with his touches. He can be a wee bit casual, but when he's on it and he's in the mood, he's a very, very dangerous player.
Yeah, he's certainly got the quality when he produces it. Misses out though on the World Cup, America's squad. That's a poor pass from Fraser, picked up by Kent. Tries to feed Tillman, left hand side of the penalty area. Into the box he goes now. Fraser trying to match him. Tillman's done well though, he's spun away from him. Then was he pulled back as he goes to ground inside the 6-yard box. Just enough done in the end by Marcus Fraser, and Carson able to gather just to prevent the American getting it back across goal. 19 minutes played. St Mirren 0, Rangers 0.
He's so dogged, Marcus Fraser. He's apologising for the initial pass that Kent cuts out, and I thought Tillman had done him on the line, speaking about how good Tillman is and likes people close to him, but what a tackle it was.
Dunn fires a diagonal. Main gets in there. Barisic.
So how many times does that happen, Alistair, where he allows players inside him, whether it be from crosses or like that there? He's just sleeping. He's not aware. You will not get any time to do with Curtis Main and Ayunga up top. They will work you till they have to come off, right to the end of the match.
Yeah, it was really poor defending from Barisic. The diagonal from Charles Dunn, and Main just went and attacked it. Barisic was waiting for it, didn't realise Main was coming in on his blind side. Unfortunately for him, the header from Main was straight at McGregor and a comfortable take in the end from the keeper. But it's not the first time, you say, Neil, that Barisic has been caught in such a situation. It's cost Rangers goals in the past, and luckily for him, it didn't do so there.
Yeah, I don't think Main could get any power on it, but he certainly gave Barisic a fright. There's a lot to like about this St Mirren side, you know. He's a really good mix, Stevie. He's got a good shape, good players.
Kilty into the penalty area from the right-hand side. Too much on it, though. That'll just drift behind for a goal kick to Rangers, applauded by the home fans for the intention there from Kilty, who got his first goal of the season in that draw against St Johnstone, which I think most of the fans inside SMiSA Stadium on Wednesday thought it was going to be a victory, looking for their first in 3, but now it's no wins in 3 after the late Nicky Clark goal. What a good goal it was as well from Clark, who of course scored against Rangers last weekend as well. Kamara losing out on the far side to O'Hara, and it'll be a free kick to St Mirren as Kamara just dragged the St Mirren captain to the ground. 20 on the clock.
I tell you what, he carries that armband well, Mark O'Hara. I just think he seems to have gone to a new level with Steve Robinson in the games that I've seen, in terms of his attitude, his drive. He's been right at it today. He's stolen, I would say, 3 or 4 balls already off the feet of the Rangers players just by being on the front foot and being really proactive.
Yeah, he really has, as you say. Seems to have improved further this season.
What a great boy he is as well. Obviously, you ask him to go and play somewhere, he just does it. He's a very intelligent footballer as well. He takes on information so well.
Here's Barisic for Rangers on the halfway line out to the left-hand side. Kent's been well worked so far this afternoon by Strain, and he's won the throw-in for his side there, the Australian, playing it off Kent, and it will be a throw-in to St Mirren on this near side. The St Mirren right, as I mentioned, no wins in 3, drawn 1 and lost 2 of their last 3 games, and just 1 win in 6 for St Mirren, but they have got this good home record just at the moment. Their last defeat here was in the first day of the season against Motherwell, and that was from memory a game which a lot of people felt they didn't deserve to lose, as Barisic fouls Main, and it will be a free kick to St Mirren just inside the Rangers half, just in front of Giovanni van Bronckhorst in his technical area, although Ryan Strain just trying to gain a few yards. Kevin Clancy pulling him back, and it'll be a free kick to be taken by Ethan Erhan, who's become more and more important as well for St Mirren this season, an ever-present for Stephen Robinson. Not the best free kick in the world from Erhan, though. O'Hara losing out in the jump to Tillman, breaks to the left-hand side for Tanzer, who takes on Tillman down the left, slides it infield for Ayunga, little step over away from King, back to Erhan, and then he leaves it on the left-hand side for O'Hara. O'Hara back down the left for Tanzer. He's dispossessed this time though by Tillman, who just knocks it infield to Lundstrom, who takes a few strides forward and plays it to Morelos. Morelos infield for Wright, who accelerates away from a couple of challenges, away from a third. Scott Wright takes on the shot. Oh, he's so unlucky. He did all the hard work superbly well, beating 3 St Mirren players, but drags the left foot shot wide of Trevor Carson's left-hand post, a couple of yards wide. St Mirren 0, Rangers 0.
That was good. I mean, a wee bit of gloss on that run would have worked the goalkeeper. Just choked his shot in the end up, but his injection of pace, Alistair, was superb. Tight passing, Tillman into Lundstrom, nice little feed into the middle of the pitch, and then Scott Wright just hit the afterburners, cheeky little nutmeg, and he just chokes the shot a lot like Tillman, trying to reverse it, just gets too much on it.
Kilty, handball in the middle of the park, says Kevin Clancy, and then Erhan trying to hold on to the ball to prevent a quick Rangers free kick. Has fallen foul of the referee. He also threw the ball and it hit Kevin Clancy, which is not going to help his cause any. He and Tillman having a little bit of a coming together in the middle of the park. Ethan Erhan, word from the referee in both their ears.
I remember a day where if you get shoved, you would do everything in your power to stay up. Young Erhan just dropped. I don't think it took an awful lot to shove him over.
Here's Tavernier far side, back to King, forward for Lundstrom. What on earth was Lundstrom doing there? Trying to get the ball back to King, but he played it straight to Curtis Main, and this could prove costly Here's Strain, right hand side, swings it in, back post. Ayunga's there. King put him off with the jump there. Comes to O'Hara on the far side. St Mirren left. Tries to put it back into the penalty area, but Tavernier's there as King got something on the cross to prevent it coming in. And Rangers clear their lines. It's picked up by Fraser. He heads it forward for Ayunga, trying to hold off King, using his strength well. Ayunga plays it short to Kiltie, 25 yards from goal, plays it to O'Hara, tries to hit the first time shot. It's over the bar from Mark O'Hara, what, 30 odd yards from goal in the end from the midfielder, but his eye for goal is in at the moment. Two goals in his last two games, and right to have a go.
He's obviously quite excited with his goal on it against St Johnstone, which was cracker, pretty special. 20 odd yards out, smashed it. I mean, his keeper's just not saving it, and he's tried something different there, a wee bit further out, but he's trying to swerve it. He's almost trying to bend that first time, take Alan McGregor by surprise. But there's a couple of snapping challenges from St Mirren. You can see that they fancy themselves. They've already beaten Celtic here. I think they fancy the double over the Glasgow teams.
Sands forward for Morelos, comes off the referee, but Rangers still in possession. Play continues. It's Lundstrom who gave the ball away dangerously a minute ago, and did so in the lead up to St Johnstone's opening goal up at McDermott, rather needlessly it appeared, and they were punished on that occasion, not so on this one. But Lundstrom has been so important, Neil, for Rangers, but just a couple of lapses. Yeah, I think there's another one. He's got that crossfield pass in the bag, but he just looks a little bit flat, and I think it's almost like spreading through the ranks of the Rangers teams in the last few weeks, where they look flat but jaded, carrying a lot of pressure, and really I think they're going to benefit from the break. Certainly the injury crisis should clear up, but I think a lot of these players look as if they need a rest. That's certainly what Giovanni van Bronckhorst was saying at his news conference yesterday, that the break is very much required for his side, who have played a lot of games. Certainly the squad has been stretched by what does amount to an injury crisis. Interesting bit of play there by James Sands, who basically
he was taking that free kick,
assumed he was getting the free kick, grabbed it with his hands as he was taken to ground by Ayunga, and fortunately for him, Kevin Clancy did make the award. Kent trying to spin away from Strain, he was caught there, and it will be a free kick to Rangers midway inside the St Mirren half. Kevin Clancy wants a word with Ryan Strain. 27.5 minutes on the clock, still no goals. Rangers certainly dominating possession. They've had probably the more clear-cut chances without really, apart from that Scott Wright header, really forcing Trevor Carson to work, but they've had other opportunities, Tillman and Wright both dragging shots wide a goal when perhaps they should have done better. But still no goals at either end as Kent tries to find Barisic with a little flick between his legs, doesn't come off, and it'll be out for a throw-in to St Mirren. 28 minutes played, and St Mirren have the throw about 25 yards from their own corner flag on the right hand side, to be taken by Marcus Fraser.
I like Ryan Strain. I think he's a physical type of fullback, likes to get tight. You can see he's not intimidated by Ryan Kent's ability to go inside and outside. What I would say is that he is shown and then feeling that Kent's going inside every time, and that's where Kent should just roll him down the line like he did there, drew the foul, but it's certainly a key area of the pitch.
Ball over the top, looking for Main gathers, Kiltie helping him out. Look, he might have been offside, right hand side of the penalty. Kiltie across goes, a brilliant ball, and O'Hara just couldn't get there in time. Knocked Ayunga, and it's away out to the far side. Tanza will try to return it into the penalty area. It comes. Barisic there ahead of Kiltie. Kent brings it down, looks to get it back from Kamara. Still midway inside his own half now. Kent on the left hand side looks up and goes back to Barisic, with no Rangers players really showing ahead of him.
Good from Kent though, he just takes his sting out of the game. He had no support to go and run there, but what a pass. Kiltie right across the face of goal. As he gets into that wide area, I'm thinking just smash it low and hard. If defenders are running back there, it can come off a defender and go into your own net. Really good ball. Yeah,
that was really dangerous, but Kiltie's cross didn't get the final touch, and it was eventually cleared. Here's Barisic at the other end, pops it to the back post. Tavernier able to bring it down, knocks it back to Scott Wright. Back with Tavernier, right hand side. Scott Wright once more just inside the penalty area, does well. He's past his man, tries to play it across goal, comes off a St Mirren leg in there, and it will go behind for a Rangers corner over on the right hand side. Scott Wright started pretty brightly.
He has, yeah. He came on and did well, as Giovanni said, pre-match, where he made an impact to the game as a sub. Gets his start today. He has looked sharp there. He rolled Erehon too tight. He's got to force him back, young Erehon, and get him away from goal. But he was determined to get the byline.
Tavernier right hand side, preparing to send in the corner kick, takes it short instead. Back it goes to Kamara, angle of the box. Tavernier once more. Kelty's over there on his own, goes back to Kamara, tries to slide it in for Tavernier again. It was good defensive play there in the end by Erehon. He read the danger well, just as well for St Mirren, because Kamara would have been in a dangerous position had he collected it.
The ball's there to be crossed. If that's James Tavernier, it's gone in first time. Just Glenn Kamara just reluctant to put it in, wants to find that little penetrating pass. Don't think it was on, too tight. Just put it in the box. You've got plenty of blue jerseys in there. Just go and deliver into an area, ask questions of St Mirren defensively.
The opening half hour has come and gone, and there are no goals to report in the SMiSA Stadium in Paisley. Both managers out at the edge of their respective technical areas, urging their side on. Both in need of the points for different reasons. It's a very congested middle of the table. It looked like St Mirren were going to go fourth until the dying seconds in midweek, and all of a sudden with that late Nicky Clark goal they sit in 8th coming into this one. But again, they could leapfrog a number of teams their level with Hibs, St Johnstone and Hearts at the start of play today, and just 2 behind Livy and Aberdeen. So depending on how results pan out this afternoon, they could move up a few places. They've got a throw-in over on the far side, which Declan Gallagher looks like he's lining up a long one, left-hand side, about 20 yards from the corner flags. It's Main that wins the header. He doesn't really get the connection he wanted, but it's helped back into the box by Erehon. Barisic lets it bounce and then does manage to get it clear, and there's an offside.
Yeah, offside. I was waiting on it coming there because the younger had gone offside. It is in the box as well. I tell you, every time the ball goes wide and there's bodies in that box, St Mirren look a threat.
Free kick taken, Lindstrom picks up and plays it out to Barisic, left-hand side for Rangers. Short to Kent, who hasn't really been able to influence the game so far. He's been well matched by Ryan Strain thus far. Here's all the way back with Alan McGregor, who will just play it straight and short to Lindstrom, try and start a Rangers attack. Out to the right hand side it goes for Tavernier. Tavernier on the halfway line, back in field to Lindstrom. Barisic offers himself on the halfway line. Instead it goes slightly back the way to Sands and then round to Barisic. Plays it forward for Kamara, out to Kent, left hand side. Kamara makes the run down the left. Kent instead goes into the feet of Morelos. Now it's with Kamara, able to advance up towards the edge of the penalty area. Morelos tangles at the edge of the penalty area, and he's been penalised there just when Tillman thought he was through on goal. Morelos and Gallagher, who's picking himself up now, just a tangle of legs almost as they try to free themselves.
I didn't really see it clearly, Albert. I know Morelos wasn't happy. Gallagher maybe used the experience there and just a little body check, but it was a super pass from Kamara into the feet of Tillman, and had it not been a free kick, then Tillman was clean through and Trevor Carson again.
Gallagher and Morelos coming together again off the ball. Kevin Clancy having to intervene there. Not sure what was said between the two, but yeah, certainly it looked like as Morelos was trying to just make his way up towards the edge of the penalty area, that he and Gallagher just kind of came together, a tangle of legs, as I say, with Kamara in possession, and Kevin Clancy decided ultimately that Morelos was fouling Gallagher, and so with 33.5 minutes played, it remains St Mirren 0, Rangers 0, and St Mirren have the free kick just outside their own penalty area, launched long by Carson, looking for Main. He and Tavernier battling away.
Yeah, when you're playing against Curtis Main, I mean, you're going to come off with a few bumps and bruises, that's for sure. He grabs you, he bumps you. He was really good. Alistair, I remember being manager at the time, and I used to say to the officials, like when the ball's coming up, he's not even trying to win the ball first. He just goes, smashes the defender early, bumps in, gets a half yard, wins a flick on and holds it in. He's so clever at doing it. He's such a nuisance to play against.
Lindstrom and Kamara play the 1-2. Lindstrom then tries to find Tavernier. It's over his head. Scott Wright will keep it in the over on the far side. The Rangers right, midway inside the St Mirren half. Now he leaves it to Tavernier. Tavernier looking to get away from Main. Back the way it goes to Kamara. Kamara closely watched by O'Hara. Back to Sands, and now Barisic. Time to Think about what he wants to do next. What he does is play it out to Kent, who swivels away one way then the other with Strain. He's back inside. Ryan Kent pokes it towards Lundstrom. Lundstrom 25 yards from goal, thought about the shot, then tries to play Tavernier in behind.
Such
Main
a hard
went
pass,
back.
though, Alistair.
Yeah, it doesn't come off.
No, the margin for error is huge.
Here's Kent though outside the penalty area. Now it's Kamara inside the box, tries to force it across goal. A couple of good interventions from St Mirren players, and eventually Trevor Carson comes out, grabs the ball inside his own penalty area. 10 minutes to the interval. St Mirren 0, Rangers 0.
Good little feed in behind there, and those gaps with Declan Gallagher with the first block. Charles Dunn then with the second. It takes the ball back to Carson, but this back three are working so cohesively. I mean, they're coming across, they're shutting gaps. They're making it very difficult for Rangers to try and play through there, as I'm speaking about Lundstrom's pass.
Junga wins the header. Kilty tries to get onto the second ball. Barisic, not sure what he's trying to do, but he just knocks the ball behind. It will be a St Mirren corner. A chance for them to threaten here as Ethan Erhan comes across to take the corner kick from the St Mirren right. And all the central defence make their way to the edge of the penalty area. Charles Dunn, Declan Gallagher, Marcus Fraser in there, as well as Main and Ayunga. They've got plenty of
power there.
threats in there, as Erhan with the left foot curls it towards the back post, and it's Lundstrom who just sees it behind, but
yeah, Younger's blocking Alan McGregor there. I was watching him. He was leaning. I think he's entitled to stand his ground, the striker, but Alan McGregor, he was shouting early for Kevin Clancy.
Gets the free kick to the Rangers keeper. 9 minutes to the interval. I was just thinking, Neil, that just looking at that previous Rangers attack, there's some good build-up play. We've seen it not just today, but in previous weeks. But they really lack a cutting edge at the moment, don't they?
Yeah, they do. They lack that spark, that killer spark. Sometimes this lad on the ball, Ryan Kent, I mean, he works so hard. He does so much short-paced running. But as a striker, he must be so frustrating, because I watched Morelos a minute ago. Kent chops on the left, Morelos didn't move. Chop on the right, Morelos didn't move. Because I think he thinks, not coming in, so there's no point in doing any movement. So that stuff has to sharpen up. That needs to be done quicker.
Here's Tavernier looking for the low ball into Morelos, just away from the striker, and Kilty knocks it out of play over on the far side. We've got 8 minutes left of the first half, and it's goalless between St Mirren and Rangers in this early kick-off in the Scottish Premiership. Here's Sands out to the left for Kent, bit of room for him. Kilty comes across to try and close him down initially. Kent with a drop of the shoulder, tries to take him on the outside, and comes back infield, sells Lundstrom a little bit short. The 50-50 between him and Kilty breaks the way ultimately of Ayunga, who'll pick up, matched by Sands, plays out to the left hand side for Tanzer, now coming forward over the halfway line. Scott Wright goes back with him. Tanzer down the left touchline he goes. Wright gets himself in between Tanzer and the ball and wins it back, and Tavernier plays it up to Kamara, who's having to battle hard to hold on to possession under severe pressure from O'Hara.
Yeah, it was a tight ball from Tavernier. He dealt with it under extreme pressure from Mark O'Hara.
Rangers free kick quickly taken. McGregor was desperate to take it even quicker, as Barisic now comes over the halfway line, plays it up towards Morelos, edge of the penalty. It comes out to the left hand side looking for options. Back it goes to Kent. Kent again with Tillman. Morelos couldn't gather this short pass, and St Mirren again break up the Rangers attack, and it's good skill from Strain to move away from Kent, and then plays it forward for Ayunga with King on the edge of the penalty area, right hand side. Good toe in from King, will knock it out for a throw in down near the corner flag on the St Mirren right. And the home fans encouraged by what they've seen. You can see why they've got this good home record, Neil. They are a solid side.
I'm going to tell you something about this group of players. They seem so together, Alistair, and you can see it on the pitch. I watch it when they come off it just before the game. There's a couple of little kids there, mascots, and they look so together, even for something so simple like a picture. You can tell a lot about a group in terms of how they operate during the down parts of a game, whether it be warm-ups or off the game, and they're working for each other on the pitch. That's why they're getting results.
Declan Gallagher lining up another long throw from the right hand side, this time a few yards away from the corner flag, and it comes to the edge of the 6-yard box. Barisic and then Kent get the headers. Back it comes though from Strain, headed clear once more, this time by King. It will be a throw into St Mirren midway inside the Rangers half, right hand side as St Mirren attack. Strain will take this one. Kevin Clancy ordering him back a couple of yards. 5.5 minutes to the interval, still no goals. Celtic at home to Ross County. We'll hope they get the chance to extend the lead even further at the top of the league table this afternoon. Fraser to send the cross in onto the chest of Ayunga. Gets probably a little bit too much, but it comes to Erhan out to the right hand side. Strain with the low ball, and it's a good ball, and Tavernier takes no chances at the back post, turns it behind for a St Mirren corner, but it could have been worse for Rangers.
Yeah, it's slack from Kamara first, but when it's pushed wide, I mean, it's into a brilliant area, but it's on the ground. It's gone through Sands, it's gone through King, and really, if any St Mirren player takes a gamble there, they've got a tap in, middle of the goal, 6 yards out.
Corner kick to St Mirren then, far side, the St Mirren left, to be taken by Ryan Strain. Again, plenty of bodies in black and white making their move inside the penalty area. It's a dangerous looking one. And it was Gallagher who got his head to the ball at the back post but couldn't angle it on target. McGregor trying to take the quick goal kick. O'Hara prevented it, and McGregor, as he often is furious. Kevin Clancy just having to calm him down there. But what about the chance there for Declan Gallagher?
Yeah, Declan Gallagher is a ball. I tell you, the set pieces have been really good today for St Mirren. They've got a lot of power, as you pointed out rightly, with the height they've got and the strength they've got. But Declan Gallagher just pulled on the back of John Lundstrom, got up, got a clean header. Probably should do better as well, but when Alan McGregor, as he always does, wants to get things started quick, is pretty upset with Kevin Clancy that he's not allowed to do so. I think it's Mark O'Hara maybe.
Rangers have it, 4 minutes left in this first period, still no goals. St Mirren threatening there. Declan Gallagher will probably feel he should have hit the target at the back post with the header from the corner kick. That's as close as they've come. A couple of dangerous balls though into the Rangers box. Haven't been finished, unfortunately, for the home side, as Kent fails to keep the pass in on this near side. It'll be a throw into St Mirren. We've got 3.5 minutes left, and wouldn't say that necessarily either side deserves to go in front of the interval, but here comes St Mirren trying to ensure they do. Ryan Strain, like Ryan Kent a few seconds ago, fails to keep the ball in, and it will be a throw into Rangers on the near side. The Rangers left, quickly taken by Barisic to Sands. Sands back to his goalkeeper Alan McGregor, all in yellow, plays out to Lundstrom. Lundstrom back to King, just inside his own penalty area.
As good as St Mirren have been, I think that's maybe one area where Stevie Robinson will maybe have a gripe about, is not really testing Alan McGregor too much. Alistair, they've been competitive through the middle of the pitch, they've defended well at times, they've just not tested Alan McGregor good enough. Lovely turn by
Tillman there, playing in Kamara, and then he just tried another little flick, Glenn Kamara, and it didn't come off, and there's a bit of disgruntlement among the Rangers fans seeing Kamara give out the ball away again. He's normally so good with possession, but
yeah, it looks a wee bit rusty today.
A little bit over elaborate perhaps there, albeit when those kind of flicks come off, he looks really good. Here's Scott Wright going down the right hand side, but he can't get the better of Tanzer, who just stands his ground, puts the left boot out and wins it, and then plays it to Main. Main has it over on the far side, the St Mirren left, inviting Erhan forward. Ryan Kent's gone all the way back there on the right hand side to knock the ball out of play. 2 minutes of the first period remaining, still no goals. O'Hara gets the pass away, snapping in there was Kamara at the back of Kilty. Play continues with St Mirren in possession. Not sure if the referee would have given a foul for it if he weren't. Ball comes in off Leon King, almost an own goal off the left knee of Leon King. An unconventional attempt at a clearance there, and he knew very little about it. Ultimately the Rangers defender and Alan McGregor watched as it sailed just inches over his crossbar. It will be a St Mirren corner. 0-0 it stands.
Great ball from Strain. He's had a few now. I mean, you're saying it's unconventional. I'm not quite sure what part of anatomy he can go with there. It's such an awkward height. And what I would say is he has to get it, because Curtis Main is right behind him. It was really good defending from young King.
Could so easily have ended up in the back of the net, but fortunately for Leon King, over the crossbar. Erham with the corner kick from the right hand side, swings it in back post. McGregor comes, gets a right glove on it, pushes it behind. It'll be another St Mirren corner as we move into the final minute of the opening period, plus any added on time. I'm not sure there'll be any added on time actually, as the home fans urge on their side in the final seconds of the first half.
Oh, we've had no fun with the VAR yet, Alistair.
No.
It's disappointing.
Indeed. Well, it's time yet. St Mirren, how much would it mean to them to get a goal just before the interval? It's a flick on at the near post from Curtis Main.
I thought it was a corner.
Comes off
again,
a Rangers head finally, and it will be another corner over on the near side. The St Mirren right, as they apply the pressure going into the interval. 0-0 it stands. St Mirren perhaps with the last chance of the first half to get on the score sheet as Erhan trots across to swing this one in. Left-footed from the right-hand side. Another in-swinger about to come in from the young midfielder. Right into the 6-yard box again. Leon King gets his head to it. Kent just smashes it up and over the halfway line. Rangers clear their lines. Nervy few moments for them before the half-time whistle goes from Kevin Clancy. An entertaining enough, albeit goalless first period. Rangers with chances certainly early on. Malik Tillman created an opportunity for himself inside 7 minutes, but then dragged the shot just wide of goal. The closest they've come to scoring, you'd have to say, the visitors, was on the quarter-hour mark as Barisic picked out Scott Wright at the back post. His downward header was certainly goal-bound, but Trevor Carson put himself in the way and managed to save. Scott Wright, another enterprising run from him, ended with a shot that was dragged wide of Carson's other post. And then at the other end, some late pressure from St Mirren in the first half. Declan Gallagher sent a header just wide from a corner kick at the back post, and then just a minute or so ago, a cross coming into the penalty area, so Leon King divert the ball over his own crossbar. It was only inches from going in the net. But as the teams go in at half-time in Paisley, the half-time score, St Mirren 0, Rangers 0.
St Mirren versus Rangers.
The Scottish Premiership.
From BBC Radio Scotland.
Walk and talk to help raise money for BBC Children in Need.
Get your friends and family together to go for a walk in your favourite spot, challenging yourself to get the steps in to support children and young people where you live.
Join Joe Wicks and me, Michelle McManus, by doing 1 mile, 5 miles or even 100 miles, whatever it is. It could be a challenge or just an opportunity to get outdoors for a chat, because it's good for us all.
Just go to bbc.co.uk/Pudsey to get involved and start fundraising.
Walk and talk for children in need.
On BBC Radio Scotland.
So at half-time in our first commentary of the day, it's from Paisley. It's St Mirren 0, Rangers 0. Leanne Crichton and Michael Stewart are with me in the studio. It's not a great game, Leanne, not a huge amount of chances. That great chance for Tillman early on. Not a lot of talking points. VAR has not come into play. I think we welcome that. I'm sure it will do later in the day.
You done? You're devastated, Kenny, aren't you?
I am, but I want a talking point. I need something from that game. Listen, the afternoon will definitely deliver. We've got so much today. Of course, don't forget the 6 o'clock kick-off tonight. Aberdeen against Dundee United from Pittodrie. In terms of that game, Leanne, the first half?
Probably not the worst game of football, I would need to say. Certainly not too many talking points, as you suggest. Couple of chances, half chances for both sides. Fairly even in terms of those. St Mirren, I reckon, will be the happier of the two, because as you would expect, their home form, we mentioned it earlier on, you spoke about it, Ken, their home form is very good. The game plan that they would have set out to cause Rangers problems, to be defensively robust and difficult to break down, so far as it's been there. They've had 5 corners, St Mirren. They've had opportunities to put the ball into Rangers' box, ask a number of questions. Some decent balls into the box, I would need to say, and probably some that they could have done better, getting bodies on the end. I think Neil spoke about that from a Rangers perspective as well, that opposite wide players not getting in the box enough, coming into that back area. St Mirren have probably been guilty of that on occasions as well, that I think it was maybe O'Hara could have got on one at the back post, but a fairly evenly matched game, nothing really cutting edge from either side. But certainly, in my opinion, St Mirren will be the happier of the two, because they're in a position that they would be comfortable with, and they will believe that they can go and cause Rangers some second half problems.
Yeah, Giovanni van Bronckhorst, Michael said pre-match, is a game they have to win, which is, I guess, stating the obvious given the position he's in at the moment and the deficit to Celtic in the league positions. Have they done enough for you? Have they created enough for you in that first half?
No, I think it's quite clear that they haven't, and it's just a continuing theme with Rangers of late, that I think everybody recognises they're lacking an edge to their game. It was, and I said this during the week against Hearts, it was the same. They got a huge goal which changes the perception of it all, and that's, the manager said it before the game himself. He says a victory is all that matters here. It's 3 points, because it alters the perception, and you can start to focus on the positives, which buys you a bit more time to try to work through and find the form. The disappointing thing for Rangers, obviously, at the moment, is that the form's not quite there, and there have been drop points here and there, which is a serious concern. you look at the level of performance, it's unquestionably a fair bit down from where you would expect and hope that they would be. The intensity is not there, the creativity and the final ball is lacking. St Mirren, have played their part by a huge part in the game, because they're a good, well organised, difficult side to break down. So in effect it's exactly the sort of team that Rangers wouldn't have been wanting to go away from home against right before this break for the World Cup. And they will be, as Leanne said, they'll be happy with how that first half has unfolded. They've got themselves up the park on a number of occasions. They've looked like they could threaten. It's not been any clear-cut chances other than the one that got fizzed across the face of the goal, and there was a couple of St Mirren players diving to try and get on the end of it. But they will be fairly happy, and Stephen Robinson will be in the changing room just saying, look, more of the same. There will be an opportunity, a chance will arise. It's just obviously key that if that does happen, that they get it in the back of the net.
Let's expand, Neil, on a word that Michael used there, creativity. We've spoken a lot about Ryan Kent this season. He was instrumental in the goal against Hearts. It's a team game, a collective. We know that. But potentially he holds the key to unlocking the capability, the talent in this team that we know, that we've seen is there.
Yeah.
But he just doesn't seem to do it. And I know he's frustrated you a lot this season. Leanne mentioned there about the guys, the opposite wingers, not getting in, in the opposite post. This is a guy like Morelos. His contract is up at the end of the season, but we're just not seeing it from him.
No, before I get to that, I'll tell you who is creative. The guy who makes the pies here, Ken. I've got to comment. I think I've just had a kebab pie. I'm not joking you. Now, if that isn't creative, then there's something I miss with my taste buds.
And it's a concern if it's not kebab. I'm worried about what you might have ate.
Honestly, Leanne, you wouldn't believe it. You're looking at something, you're thinking, is that spicy? I think there's a kebab in there. Anyway, get back to Ryan Kent. I could maybe have a phone call with this guy, but look, I really like Ryan Kent, but I'm equally in measure frustrated because I wouldn't get bothered with him if he didn't have ability, but he gets so much ability, the boy, and at times I think he lacks confidence. I think at times he lacks belief in his own ability. I think he's the architect of his own downfall at times. Kenny, I would have been like verbally abused by my striker in my day had I chopped and chopped and chopped the amount of times, because strikers want to make one run, and generally it's the most dangerous run because it's the one that will catch a defender totally unaware. He'll get across the front post of someone, he'll go in behind somebody, he'll get in between somebody and expecting the winger to deliver, and so many times he chops back and he works hard, but sometimes he overdoes it. So there's a lot of things that I think that Ryan Kent could do better. But you're right, and one thing is that he is one of the vital aspects of this Rangers team that can get results, because they're playing flat just now. I think there's a real bit of pressure that you can see them all. They're all playing under. I think they're slack. I think they look jaded, and I think that's a lot to do with the mind. But Ryan Kent is certainly a player that can do so much more. But equally, I think there's other guys there. Tillman is another guy that that I'm overly friendly with in terms of his performances at times. But again, it's just because I think he's got so much ability.
But they all fall into the same category, Neil, in regards to you look at them and they just don't look like they're going to inspire you to do anything. No, now, when the team's flying, you think to yourself, great, brilliant, but these are the guys.
That's no leaders.
No, exactly. Exactly.
And that's the point. See, when things are flat in games, that's when leaders, they don't have to go about grabbing you with the scruff of the neck or going smashing challenges or getting about the referee. It's actually just saying, give me it, I'll do something with this, I'll go buy somebody, because you know what, that's my job. And that's what a leader's about.
Neil, see, when you look at that front four today though, Scott Wright for me, I think he's the one that looks like he could create something. He said the shots on goal off target was one that he pulled wide. He came in at the back area with a header that Carson saved. He plays on the opposite side, he's left-footed. I think what you see with Scott Wright is what you get. Now, he might not be everybody's flavour of the month, might not be the first name on the team sheet, but he's a left-footed player playing on the right side, that when he picks up the ball, he drives in the pitch, he comes and links the play.
Well, I think he's right-footed, Leanne, but I don't want to...
Well, he's very comfortable coming inside on his
both.
left, the chances that he's had are with his left. But I think with Ryan Kent, doesn't know what he wants to do at times, and I've seen that to Michael during the game when you look at the partnership and the relationship between himself and Borna Barisic. Now, if you're Ryan Kent, again, right-footed, He's not a player like you, Neil, as a winger that was getting to the byline and putting in crosses, you know, that knew exactly what your job was. It's almost like there's a bit of freedom and creativity is left up to him to come up with at times. But Borna Barisic gets almost in line with him at times, and he just stops. Just stops and watches him and stands in the white touchline behind him and almost trying not to get in his way. And I think that is so easy to defend against. If you're St Mirren,
there's a few things, Leanne, like you pointed out there. So under Stevie Gerrard and Mick Beale,
he didn't play like a winger.
No, he played as a 10. So he played with 2 10s in behind the 9. So he could come in there and do double shuffles and go through little gaps and come inside and be more of a troublesome player, almost more freer. But now I think whether it's by design or default, Giovanni's asking him to be pretty disciplined. He's doing the same type of step overs and work, but he's not going anywhere on the outside. And I think if you're playing as a winger, an out-and-out winger, your job is get by that fullback every time. And your first chance you get the ball should be a race to see, have I got him for pace? Because if you've got him for pace, that fullback's now got a problem. He'll stand off you. Then you come inside, you mix your game up. Playing against a back 5, I think, should be relatively simple to manipulate when you have the ball. Rangers, then the fullback should play slightly shallower, and that means deeper. So when they get the ball, the winger should stand really high behind the wing back. Now, when Barisic gets it, 2 things will happen. Either the central mid will come across, that means someone in the central mid area of Rangers will be free. If he stays inside as a 3, then the wing back goes. That means if Kent stays high, Barisic just gets the ball, slides it down the side, he's 1v1 with the outside centre back. But it doesn't happen.
But you know, the other thing that Neil, though, that Ryan Kent doesn't ever do, and he doesn't want to do, is he never wants to run in behind onto a ball. He always wants the ball to feet.
Do you know when he used to do it, Michael? He used to do it off a Goldson for a Diags, but he doesn't do it with a fullback. And I used to talk to Newman, I say, see if I come short, I'm spinning him behind.
Just hit it.
See if I go in behind and it's on, I'll go and get it. But if the fullback drops, I'm checking. And it was a relationship. It was almost like premeditated. It was like, here's the playbook. But it doesn't seem to be that, Michael. You're right.
And here's the other thing for me with Rangers, right? And I was just saying this to Leanne, and I've harped on about this long enough, and I know he's been injured earlier. Alex Lowry came back off the bench against Ajax, and he's not been on the bench since. Now, when you're talking about creative sparks and trying to do something different,
you mentioned him in the opening day.
That's what I'm talking about, and I know he's been injured, but he came back off the bench against Ajax. He played for the B team during the week.
He was poor in that game, Michael. Really poor.
So he's not been on the bench since. Now, Neil, I've not seen his performances for the B team, right? But I've seen the performances of some of the players that are in his position for the first team.
Yes,
and I've got to say to myself,
take your point.
I don't know what is he not doing.
That's the position that I think he could play.
Yeah, what is he not doing in training? Now, obviously, we don't see that. That would be a major concern for me in regards to, here's a young lad who is, and I said this at the start of the season, he has to be playing 20-25 games this season, otherwise he stagnates and he's going backwards. We're almost halfway through the season, he's been injured, he's not playing, he's going backwards, and he's too good a player to allow that to happen to him.
And it's the sort of thing that gives the fans a lift, doesn't it? When you see a youngster coming through, and I guess the teammates. In terms of St Mirren, Neil, very happy, I'm sure, with the way things are. Who's the player there that looks likely, if a chance arises, to perhaps unlock that Rangers defence? Well, who's the spark?
I think a younger up top and Main are giving young King and Sands so much bother. Ahara looks right on it. I said during commentary there that I think, given the captain's armband, I think he's grown in stature. He's on it, but I think if they get enough service to the wide areas and they put balls in the box, I can see one of those strikers getting in ahead of someone. You can see Main dipping in again, Barisic getting caught with that blindside run that he so often does. But there's a lot to like about St Mirren. But the one thing I pointed out is they haven't tested Alan McGregor. But the amount of balls, good deliveries from set pieces, you think sooner or later, because I still think there's a vulnerability about Rangers at set pieces, that St Mirren will get a chance.
Well, we shall see. Just to tell you what we've got for you today, the option of commentary or open on mic, Celtic against Ross County. That's one of 4 Premiership games that kicks off at 3 o'clock. Also Hearts Livingston. It's got a feel of a big one through at Rugby Park. Kilmarnock against Hibs, St Johnstone, Motherwell. Reporters at the Championship matches. And then at 6 o'clock, the Saturday evening kick-off comes from Pittodrie, Aberdeen against Dundee United. Full commentary of that one. Let's then get back to Paisley. St Mirren against Rangers with Neil McCann and Alistair Lamont.
Thanks again, Kenny. St Mirren just returning to the field. Rangers already back out there, and there's been a change at half-time. Scott Arfield has come on for Glenn Kamara in this second period. St Mirren look to be unchanged as they come out, and Kevin Clancy follows them out, the match referee. So Giovanni van Bronckhorst, Neil, no massive surprise that he's made that change.
Well, he's obviously unhappy with Glenn. I thought Glenn looked a wee bit tired. They said he hadn't been starting the game, so Scott Arfield will be certainly a bigger threat. Just before we get into the game, Alistair, I can confirm that was indeed a kebab pie. And very good. But anyway, we're back to the football. Yeah, Arfield coming on will provide another threat for Rangers, and something that St Mirren will have to watch, because those little areas darting in between three centre-backs, I think was shown up a couple of times. He will ask more questions of that. Well, Morelos has just ran right into is it? No, it's Ethan Erhahon. I mean, it's ridiculous.
Yellow card.
The guy is so petulant at times.
Well, he was going to assume trying to close down the ball forward as it went back from the centre was taken. James Tavernier's up asking Kevin Clancy about it, and Ethan Erhahon was there essentially as the block, wasn't he, to prevent Rangers getting anything on the clearance. And Morelos, as you say, right into Ethan Erhahon, and Kevin Clancy shows him the yellow card. I think that's the first yellow we've had.
He needs to watch. He needs to watch, because we know he gets involved. I think both Dunn and Declan Gallagher, as this game develops, will ask questions of his temperament. They'll bang into him, and he can't react. He can't allow himself to get involved and get Rangers down to 10 men.
Dunn takes a free kick then on the halfway line. Tillman gets his head to it, over on the far side, out to the left, and out for a throw, and it goes in the opening minute of this second period. St Mirren will get a chance to send in a long throw in here. Certainly caused a few nervy moments in the first period with long throws, corner kicks, set pieces generally, crosses into the penalty area. No goals so far, but here's Gallagher's throw in. Main comes to the near post. Brilliant save, McGregor. The rebound is in! St Mirren in front! And it looks like Jonah Younger's got the final touch. Alan McGregor made a phenomenal save to keep them out first time, but he could do nothing about the rebound. And St Mirren, right at the start of the second half, have the advantage as St Mirren 1, Rangers 0.
Well, Kenny was asking me at half-time who I thought would come up with something from St Mirren. The two guys I mentioned, Main and the Younger up top, certainly played their part there. It's not a corner, it's not a free kick, it's a big long throw in. Main gets in front, which he has done throughout that first half, gets a flick. I tell you, Younger's first effort's good. The save was incredible from Alan McGregor, because he's going down, big strong left hand, but when it bounces right into the 6-yard box, Younger just steals the march on young King and smashes it home. I mean, it's a dream start for St Mirren and a horror one from Rangers. But you have to say, St Mirren were knocking on the door for that physicality. Just a chance is going to drop. You felt they might take it, and they have.
Jonah Younger's last goal came in the victory over Celtic here. The second St Mirren goal on that occasion. And he's got the opener here against Rangers, and that really puts the cat amongst the pigeons as far as Rangers are concerned. The balls into the box, as I mentioned, have caused problems. That's the first time they've been able to really capitalise on them, and St Mirren have a goal lead here at home to Rangers. As Tavernier picks up, and Rangers will look to respond. Out to the right hand side it comes to Scott Wright. Right away from one challenge, but across comes Dunn, and then Wright catches him as he makes the clearance. It will be a free kick to St Mirren. St Mirren not happy with that. I think our pitch side reporter Gerdine Idsans had a look back at the goal. Anything to report, Gerdine?
Yeah, just two things standing out. First, the exceptional save from Alan McGregor, one-handed, right-handed, the initial effort from Ayunga, but then it was Leon King who hesitated to clear the ball. He had a chance to get the ball away. He didn't do it first time. Ayunga pounced, and now Rangers have it all to do.
Certainly do. Free kick to St Mirren. That's Ayunga's 7th goal of the season all told, just his 3rd in the league, as I say, his first since that win over Celtic here. They've got their noses in front, and here they come once more, and it is Ayunga down the right hand side. St Mirren looking for a quick fire second, comes off Barisic. It will be a St Mirren corner. 4 minutes into the second half, Giovanni van Bronckhorst retreats to his dugout, and well, there's going to be increasing pressure on him unless Rangers can turn this one around.
Well, there's pressure on his side as well out there to react to it, and can they match St Mirren was one question, but they need to outwork them now to get back into this game. You would think they'll get better quality. At this showing, they've not.
Erhan, right hand side, left foot in swinger. It's a good ball. Gallagher gets his head to it. Rangers trying to scramble it clear, which they do, to the edge of the box. Kent picks up. Kiltie there in front of him though. Plays it to Strain. Strain tries to help it down the left hand side, looking for Kiltie once more. Tavernier though gets in and knocks it long up towards Scott Wright. Good first touch into Morelos. It goes. Terrible first touch from Morelos, and he can't hold on to possession. St Mirren win it back, and then it's hammered forward by Tanser. Sands there with a header. Curtis Main picks up on the loose ball coming forward in the right channel. Loose ball infield from him, but he's won it back, only to then give it up once more. It's Arfield getting it back from Kent out to the left hand side to Morelos. The onus on him to try and produce something for Rangers. Back post ball looking for Scott Wright. The home fans like to look at that. It's gone way over the head of Scott Wright, behind for a goal kick. Malik Tillman going to try and retrieve the ball and get a move on for St Mirren, but they will be taking their time, understandably, with just 5 minutes gone in the second half. It's St Mirren 1, Rangers 0.
I think that's just really, really poor from Alfredo Morelos. I mean, he's wandering about there, he gets himself free. That's a World Cup pass to Scott Wright. I don't know what you're expecting Scott Wright to do with it. It was just almost like, I'm just going to get rid of this. It wasn't on. Hold the ball, drop it to support and run from midfield, get yourself in the box. And right after that, Al, I'm going to point out that young Robbie Ewer has just been sent out for a warm-up.
Yeah, well, he's their only other really viable striker option, the 18-year-old. Here's Kent, left-hand side of the penalty area, plays it to Barisic. Barisic stands up into the 6-yard box. It goes well defended in there as Morelos looked to attack it. It was Tanser who got his head to it. Rangers pick up once more, edge of the box. Arfield out to Tavernier, right hand side. Rangers looking for an equaliser. Goes back to Arfield. Arfield into the feet of Tillman. Tillman chance to shoot potentially. Still he's going. Tillman, he couldn't get the shot away.
Got to pull the trigger there.
Yeah.
Just chop onto the left side. He did great chopping it, but just wanted it on the strong right.
Back it comes though from Rangers. Tavernier right hand side. Poor cross from the captain this time. Straight behind for a goal kick. 51 minutes played. St Mirren 1, Rangers 0.
You can see just St Mirren just starting to deepen off, or whether it's just an injection of enthusiasm and tempo from Rangers players just to force them back. But nonetheless, there's a little bit of a shift in momentum since St Mirren scored that goal, and that can happen naturally. It's really important from Stevie Robinson's point of view that he calms his team down, continues to play how they have been playing, and not allow Rangers a foothold in the game.
St Mirren, who have got the strong foothold just at the moment. Jonah Younga's third league goal this season has them in front. Here's O'Hara, 35 yards from goal, plays out to the left. Young
King's flat out on the pitch there.
Yeah, I think it's a head knock.
Yeah, he's not moving, and
play stopped.
The St Mirren fans are not happy about it, Alistair. I think it's only right that they check on the young fella.
Yeah, you're right. He's prone on the ground. He is moving his legs. Just getting a look at the attendance here. 6,358 inside the SMiSA Stadium. Keradine, anything in that challenge?
Yeah, it looks like a nasty elbow to the head for Leon King there from Curtis Main. I don't think there was any intent at all, but that's why he's prone on the ground, is getting some prolonged medical attention. Now, it did look like quite a nasty, in terms of the force of the collision, with the elbow to the head.
I take it they're not looking at the incident, no.
Difficult to see at the moment whether it's being reviewed for serious foul play. My instinct is that it wasn't intentional from Main, but we'll maybe wait to see whether there's any further action in any kind of VAR review.
Yeah, another problem for Rangers if Leon King is badly hurt here, is that they have only John Leifeco on the bench in terms of central defenders.
Yeah, I mean, they could do that with a young fella, or they could bring young Devine in, and slide Tavernier into centre back. There's a couple of things they need to do, but what is clear is it won't be natural, and I don't think it's going to be straightforward. Ryan Jack, actually.
Well, Ryan Jack, he did play centre back. I think it was in the Queen of the South game in the League Cup. The change is going to have to be made by the looks of it, and Ryan Jack, who...
Well, maybe Lundstrom will just slide into a centre-back position as well. He's got the stature, he's done it, he's played in a 3. Maybe Jack will go into the middle of the pitch.
It's possible as well yet, but Leon King looks like he's going to play no further part in the game.
I mean, he's not moved much, which is a real concern, Alistair. When I saw him lie flat, he's the type of boy that you just know, he's a young fella, but he's a tough nut, and he's not lying there out of sympathy from his position of maybe conceding that goal and playing a part in it. The boy looks hurt, and we've got a real concern about him.
Yeah, well, fortunately football is beginning to take head knocks more seriously these days, and that's why play was immediately halted by Kevin Clancy when he did realise it was a head knock that Leon King had taken, and the 18-year-old who's been thrust into the first team, become a regular effectively this season, more out of lack of senior fit central defenders as much as anything else, but he had begun to emerge certainly last season.
Well, I'm looking at that, Alistair, and he's lying prone, he's on his front, and generally if it's a head knock and they want him to recover, they'll get him into the recovery position, but he's not moved from that position, which suggests that there's some sort of facial injury, or I don't know, maybe even a neck injury. I'm really hopeful it's not. They're just getting him into that side-on position now, maybe just to manoeuvre him onto the stretcher, but a real horrible scene.
Yeah, it's not a pleasant thing to see at football grounds as the Rangers players come over to this near side, half a dozen of them, get some liquids on, but also a word in the ear from Roy Mackay, Giovanni van Bronckhorst. They need to do something about the position they find themselves in. Some of the Rangers players gathering around Leon King now to just check on his welfare, and it's a lengthy delay here, but obviously we want them to take as long as they need to get the young man into a comfortable position before stretchering him off. But Ryan Jack will come on for about the last 35 minutes with Rangers trailing by a goal to nil.
Well, I was just about to talk about Curtis Main. I've touched on it in the first half. He is horrible to play against. I haven't seen it as a coaching point of view, having watched as a pundit, as a commentator. I mean, he just batters into centre-backs. He's so physical. I'm not saying by any stretch of imagination there was anything intentional whatsoever. I think strikers generally, when they're going up, will use their arms for leverage, and it seems like he's taken a sore one. But what is clear is that he has been an absolute nightmare for young Sands and young Leon King to play against today. He played his part in the goal, a thorn in the side. He's another player that I think has been rejuvenated since Stevie Robinson came to St Mirren. Of course, know each other very, very well from Motherwell.
Yeah, Main was immense here against Celtic in the victory, it has to be said. Worked his socks off, which you will almost always do. There's a real shift in. He's one of those strikers that I think some people have issues with strikers who don't score a lot of goals.
Yeah.
He certainly doesn't these days, although certainly back at Motherwell he was among the goals more often.
Yep.
He's got just a couple this season. Both of them came against Dundee United back in August, but he does, as you say, Neil, put a real shift in.
I think he's really good at playing as a pair, and I think when we were speaking about that, and I was talking to Leanne about Stephen Robinson finding the old magic again with that formation, which works so well for him. It's two strikers up top, so he's not got the responsibility as the sole striker to come up with the goal, so maybe that alleviates some pressure for him. He knows he can be the battering ram, the flick-on guy, the supporting act, and he does that job ever so well. So if a younger's maybe now hitting the back of the net, at some stage he might want to return the favour, be that flick-on guy, and Main might start getting a couple, but nevertheless I think it's a formula that's working for Stevie Robinson.
Well, St Mirren's last win over Rangers was just a couple of years ago in the League Cup. If you remember the 3-2 game where Conor McCarthy scored a 90th minute winner, and they have the advantage here. It's a long time since they've beaten them in the league, as Leon King is now stretchered off the field of play, and the home fans as well as the visiting support applaud the 18-year-old defender, who we really hope has not suffered a serious injury here. Ryan Jack preparing to come on, just gives him a little pat as he goes off, but it's not a pleasant sight.
No.
He's in a brace.
Yeah, neck brace there.
Yeah.
And the St Mirren medical team helping out, so that's a serious one when all involved. Try to see to the well-being of the player.
Yeah, we just have to hope it's not as serious as first sight would suggest. Play resumes. St Mirren get the ball back from the drop ball. Hara comes forward down the left-hand side. Rangers need to do something about the situation they find themselves in. They need to forget that Leon King injury. They need to really find a way to get back into the game, as Lundstrom, who has gone back in at centre-back, as Neil suggested would be the case, plays it square to Sands, and now it's Barisic. Ryan Jack going into the heart of the midfield to try and drive Rangers forward. We've played an hour, there'll be plenty of time added on at the end because of that injury stoppage just a moment ago. Here's Tavernier back to Lundstrom on the halfway line, plays it square for Sands. St Mirren in front, and you can't really grudge them the advantage they have. They've taken their chance. Jonah Ayunga capitalising on hesitation inside the Rangers 6-yard box to hammer home the rebound after a phenomenal save by McGregor. Ayunga hit that off his arm, but it breaks kindly for Tillman. Out to the left-hand side it goes to Kent. Kent on the left-hand side of the penalty area, looking to stand up towards the back post. It's a good header from Tanza, but it comes to Arfield. Arfield tries to play it back into the 6-yard box. Well cleared by Erin before Rangers can make anything of it. Scott Wright was closest to it. Now it's Barisic out to the left once more for Kent. Kent looking to take on Strain. Comes off the Australian. It will be a Rangers throw and quickly taken. They need to show more urgency now. As Sands fires it out to this near side to Tavernier, takes it down in the chest, closed down by O'Hara, looking for options. One of them is Ryan Jack on the edge of the centre circle. Out for the left it goes to Barisic, slides it forward for Morelos, left hand side of the penalty area, out to Kent. Kent curls it in right footed, and Carson on his line has to backpedal to clutch that one, and he does well. And despite the claims of the Rangers fans behind his goal that he'd taken it across the line, there was certainly no danger of that, and it remains St Mirren 1, Rangers 0.
Yeah, there was a few Rangers fans behind the goal were wanting the old goal line technology to kick in there, but looked pretty comfortable. Trevor Carson making sure that he kept his arms ahead of the line. Good take, good comfortable hands as well.
Here come Rangers again down the left hand side. Barisic onto Kent's pass, a poor cross on this occasion, and then the clearance from Fraser comes off Arfield behind for a goal kick. Rangers still trailing. St Mirren's last league win, as I was going to tell you about, over Rangers, came back in 2011, December of 2011. Aaron Moy was on the score sheet for Saints that day, as was Paul McGowan. Lee McCulloch and Doran Goyan sent off for Rangers, as Danny Lennon got the better of Ali McCoist in the dugouts that day. Lundstrom holds off Ayunga, wins the header, and here comes Morelos down the right hand side. Hasn't had much of an impact in the game so far, Morelos. Back it goes to Tavernier. Tavernier for Lundstrom. Barisic in plenty of space, midway inside the St Mirren half, out to the left hand side for Kent. Kent checks back onto the right foot, shows a lot of it to Kilty, who's able to make the challenge. Breaks for Barisic, who'll have to go back towards his own goal, back to Sands. It goes inside his own half, back out to Barisic on the halfway line on the left hand side, into the feet of Malik Tillman. Now Kent takes over. Barisic once more on the halfway line, back to Sands once more. It's been rather formulaic from Rangers, no real cutting edge, as I've mentioned a couple of times.
Too many people standing about, Alistair. Not enough movement, just walking around when men are in possession of the football. No dart and runs, no trying to move St Mirren's back line.
Here's Kent trying to do something about the 1-goal deficit, as Barisic picks up into the penalty area. Header away by Fraser, comes to Main. It's a lovely spin away from John Lundstrom, just dropped the shoulder, and now he'll try and feed it forward for Ayunga. Ayunga out to the right hand side, keeps the ball in play. Sands is with him. Ayunga up against Sands towards the edge of the penalty area, comes now to Strain. Strain dinks it in, back post. Tavernier heads clear. Scott Wright can't keep a hold of the ball. Tavernier to help him out. McGregor will come off his line and just grab the ball. 19 minutes of the second half played. St Mirren leading by Jonah Ayunga's goal to 0. As Arfield comes forward for Rangers, the half-time substitute. Scott Wright. Morelos went too early, had to check back now. It is Morelos, picks up from Tavernier, right hand side, back to the skipper it goes, looking for options. He's furious, he doesn't see enough movement as Neil's talking about. Comes back out from Lundstrom to Morelos, poor pass from Morelos, easily cut out by O'Hara. And again St Mirren feed it forward early. Ayunga's been left one-on-one on a couple of occasions against Sands. Good challenge by Sands on Ayunga, had to make that one right.
I tell you what, if Ayunga doesn't do the step over, which is I thought unnecessary, he had taken Sands right out of the game. But again, it's so much easier to coach a team to counter-attack, because all you do is just get them into a good solid defensive shape, make sure they're concentrated, and then go quickly to your strikers. All the responsibility and onus is on Rangers to go and break that team down, but they are taking a lot of chances, and St Mirren will get more chances as this half goes on if it remains the same.
Yeah, Rangers are going to have to commit more and more players forward, aren't they?
But they need to do more with it, Alistair. You know, it's okay getting 4 in a line and 5 in a line up top, but if it's a straight line, it's so easy to defend against, because you just go straight up against someone. It's like a set piece. You always fancy the defender, because if they're in a good position, they can see body of the player that they're picking up and the ball where it's coming from. You always fancy they'll go and attack it.
Ryan Strain's been shown a yellow card by Kevin Clancy, I think for time wasting over a throw, and he was taking an age to take. St Mirren though still have possession. It will be another throw in over on the far side. 20 minutes of the second half played. St Mirren 1, Rangers 0. Jonah Ayunga with the only goal of the game so far, just as the ball nicked off him there by Tavernier, who pokes it out. A play over on the far side.
There's just a hush comes around the Rangers fans, isn't there, when St Mirren pick up the ball and go on a break, because I think they're all waiting on the inevitable, which is a second goal.
Comes off Marcus Fraser over on the far side. It'll be a Rangers throw in, halfway line, Rangers left. Not too many options for Giovanni van Bronckhorst in terms of substitutions that he can make to try and influence the game. No one he would turn to in an emergency. Really jumps off the team sheet. Here's Sands out to Barisic on the left hand side. Leaves it for Kent midway inside the St Mirren half. Plays it into the feet of Tillman. Tillman out to Barisic, still on the touchline. Tillman goes back the way to Sands. Sands into the feet of Jack, and back once more to the American international. Now it's Barisic once more, looks up, sends it into the penalty, sends it deep, looking for Tavernier. It will come to the Rangers captain if he can just keep it in. He does, brings it under control, knocks it back to Jack. Jack into the feet of Wright with Dunn close by him. Gets turned into Morelos. Morelos tries to find Arfield, doesn't come off, breaks for Tillman. Tillman through to Arfield, out to Tavernier on the right hand side. Cross comes Tanser to close him down. Back to Ryan Jack. First time cross towards the back post. Kent will jump. He wins the header, but it comes off the back of his head. Behind for a St Mirren goal kick. And Rangers still not really threatening Trevor Carson. Certainly not in this second period.
No, I don't think Ryan Kent's going to threaten off that left touchline. Good thing is that he's in there. I can't complain that he's in there winning headers when that's what I'm asking for. While he's standing in the wide position and the ball's on this side, but it was a more hopeful cross from Ryan Jack. There was no real commitment in it. Yeah, they have to come up with better answers in what they're doing. As I said, that the movement needs to be much sharper up top. I think that Ryan Kent needs to come right in. Scott Wright does it naturally on this side, but Ryan Kent needs to come right in, and that will free up Barisic into the wide position.
Forward comes St Mirren, but Barisic cuts out the through ball, picked up by Morelos. Back to Tavernier on the halfway line. Stephen Robinson just trying to get his team to calm down. Kent though with a poor first touch, tried to take it in his stride at full tilt and couldn't keep control of the ball, and it's cleared out to the far side for a Rangers throw in down near the corner flag, quickly taken by Tillman to Barisic. Barisic gets it back from Jack and then tries to clip it forward, easily cut out though by Fraser. Yeah, just going back to the pass from Tavernier for Kent was an excellent one.
Beautiful. Actually, I didn't think it was a bad touch. I thought it was a good one, but it's just too heavy. Alistair, he tried to take the momentum and take it with him, but it was good cover from Marcus Fraser. It's something they've done really well today.
Barisic into the penalty area, cut out by Gallagher. Out to the right hand side it goes, and Strain plays it down the right for St Mirren, picked up once more by Rangers. Our pitch side report of Kearney and Sands got some, I think, news on the Leon King injury. We'll go to him in just a moment, but here come Rangers down the right hand side. As Tavernier has to go back the way. St Mirren working ever so hard to try and limit Rangers in terms of their options going forward, and they're doing it to really good effect so far, as Sands takes a chance against Erhan at the back there and just gets away with it.
Really good play. It's brave play. They know they're coming under extreme pressure from St Mirren. They've worked their way out.
Morelos out to Kent on the left hand side, just keeps it in play, comes back in field, dances away from a couple of challenges, tries to take the shot on Ryan Kent, and you can hear from the cheer of the home fans that's gone high and wide. Dreadful effort from Ryan Kent. Let's get to Kerdy.
Yeah, I'll just to say that the information we have here trackside is that the unfortunate departure on the stretcher earlier of Leon King has gone down as a concussion substitution, so that'll have implications later on for the number of subs that Rangers can use, and actually it'll affect St Mirren later. So a concussion substitution for Leon King means extra options now for both sides.
Thanks, Gerdine. Wasn't actually sure that concussion subs were still a thing in the Premiership. I thought it was actually only the Scottish Cup that they were in operation, but I'll happily stand corrected. Here's Kent over on the far side. Back to Jack it goes. We've played 25 minutes of the second half. It is St Mirren 1, Rangers 0. Rangers in big trouble here, not only this afternoon but in terms of the title race. Giovanni van Bronckhorst will really come under increasingly intense pressure if his side drop more points this afternoon, which at this stage is looking very much on the cards. Going into the World Cup break and the danger of falling more than 7 points behind Celtic, who play Ross County at 3 o'clock this afternoon, and you would have to say the clever money would be on them winning that one. It's given away by Sands to Main, who fortunately for James Sands and Rangers loses his footing, and Rangers are able to pick up possession once more. It's Tavernier into the penalty, they're cleared away by the St Mirren defence. It's picked up by O'Hara. O'Hara just clips it forward. Barisic first to it inside the centre circle, nudges it back to Lundstrom. Stephen Robinson going crazy down on the touchlines, looking to get Alex Gogic on as a substitute. Here is Kent, and back to Lundstrom, midway inside the St Mirren half into Tillman. Tillman looking to play in Arfield, cleared away though by Dunn, picked up by Sands. Barisic on the left hand side is back to Sands once more inside his own half. Thought about the square pass for Lundstrom, then probably remembered the one he just gave away to Main, and instead goes forward to Barisic. Arfield with a poor touch, then he takes Kilty out of play. There'll be a St Mirren free kick and a chance here to make the change. Stephen Robinson has got the arms spread wide on the touchline. Thought he was looking to bring Gogic. Oh, but Gogic has gone back into the dugout now.
I think he's asking, is somebody okay, and he's not getting much of an answer. He's not happy. He's making me look mild-mannered. Wee Stevie on the side of the pitch. I'm enjoying this.
Giovanni van Bronckhorst, also on the edge of his technical area, has his own problems here as Carson takes the free kick well over the halfway line. Tillman wins the header though. Morelos knocks it back, and it'll be picked up by Tavernier. We've got 17.5 minutes left on the clock as Wright challenges Dunn up there. Then Gallagher goes in and he's fouled by Scott Wright on the edge of his own penalty area, and it will be a free kick to St Mirren, who still have the 1-goal lead, and time running away from Rangers.
I know it's a ball forward from Tavernier, and it's not a great one. It's well defended, brave from Gallagher, but what I would say is Scott Wright at least is trying to put some intent. He's trying to get beyond. He's trying to put a bit of pressure on the rear guard of St Mirren to drop them. But if you're going to drop a back line, Alistair, then generally, as I said before, centre-backs, if they're static and facing it, will be favourite to win it. So then it becomes really important at the second ball. And I'm looking at the second guard coming behind there. It's not coming very quick, you know. I'm looking at Tillman not getting up. Ryan Jack, Arfield try to get in touch. There needs to be lots more. A lot more risk-taking from Rangers, and a lot more speed and intention in the play.
Last time Rangers actually dropped points to St Mirren was back in the Championship.
Surely.
Yeah, John Lundstrom and Curtis Main coming together. Looked like Lundstrom was dragging him down there. That's certainly with the home fans.
He had two hands on Curtis Main's right hand, just pulled him to the floor.
Down
I mean, it's as clear as you're going to get, Alistair.
Yeah, it looked it, absolutely. Down goes Kent on the far side. That's also not a free kick, as Ryan Jack picks up and then knocks it forward. Morelos Scott Wright trying to make something of it. Charles Dunn makes the clearance, and then goes Ryan Jack.
Not every challenge is a free kick, you know.
No, absolutely not.
You know.
Kevin Clancy's letting a few go here, rightly so. Here's Ryan Kent into the penalty area. Comes Tavernier, jumps, sends his header wide of goal though. St Mirren goal kick, and still St Mirren lead by a 1-0, and Rangers still haven't forced in Trevor Carson into a save of any note in this second period.
No, again it's the captain coming into the back post. Good ball from Ryan Kent, nice deep cross. James Tavernier making up the ground, getting high and above James Tanser. He's just probably slightly ahead of it, which makes the header more difficult. But again, going back, it's Scott Wright's coming off this wide position. He's the one that's trying to get in touch with Morelos. Others should be taking a leaf out his book.
Here comes St Mirren on the right hand side. It's Main giving chase. He won't keep that one in. I think they said that the last time Rangers dropped points to St Mirren was 2016 back in the Championship, a 2-2 draw. But as things stand, they're going to drop points this afternoon, and it could prove very, very costly in more ways than one, as St Mirren prepare a double change. We'll get news of that from Kerdine just in a couple of minutes, as Tavernier knocks it forward to the edge of the penalty area. It's Scott Wright back to Tavernier. Now Jack takes over, back out to Scott Wright, right hand side for Rangers, plays it into the penalty area, headed away by Dunn. Jack gets his head to it and knocks it to Lundstrom. Lundstrom now playing at centre back, remember, midway inside the St Mirren half, forward for Tillman. Tillman knocks it back to Jack. Jack out to the right hand side again for Scott Wright. Time to measure across here, plays it into the penalty area, knocked away by Fraser, comes back to Arfield, and now Jack back out to Scott Wright, right for Arfield, edge of the penalty area, stands up to the back post, not a good ball, headed away by Strain. Barisic and Main give chase. Main gets there first, he's given it away to Kent. No, Kent can't force the ball through, and he's just hurt himself as he tried to play that pass. Picks himself up with Rangers in possession. It's Jack out to Lundstrom. Rangers desperately looking for an equaliser, as Scott Wright has it, plays it through, looking for Tillman, just too much on the pass. It was the right idea, wrong execution.
This time Tillman did release the anchor and drop in the little gap between the two centre backs of Gallagher and Dunn, and had the pass been on point, he had a clean sight of goal. Just come off, I think it was his ankle. Scott Wright was unlucky because he did see the pass.
Sands wins the header from Carson's clearance, knocked on by Tavernier. Gallagher first to it with Morelos waiting on it. O'Hara picks up on the left hand side. The St Mirren captain, whose side leads by a 0-0, into the feet of Ayunga, tries to spin away from Lundstrom. He's done well. Lundstrom gets across, and the shot comes flashing past Alan McGregor, but fortunately for Rangers, flashing past the post. Ayunga wants a corner kick, it's not going to be given, but Ayunga showing how threatening he can be, looking for his second goal of the afternoon, just wide from Ayunga. Kerdine, what about those changes?
Yeah, Grieve and Bacchus coming on for St Mirren. They look to keep up the energy levels for the closing stages of the match. Greg Kiltie is one of the players coming off. I'm guessing it'll be either Main or Ayunga who's the other one, but we'll see in a second.
Yeah, off comes Greg Kiltie. And on will come Keanu Bacchus, preparing to head off to the World Cup in just a few days' time to meet up with his Australian teammates, and on for the closing quarter of an hour or thereabouts to try and shore things up in the midfield. And it will be the goal scorer, Jonah Ayunga, who will make way for Alex Grieve, as Ayunga comes off to rapturous applause from the home fans, and he came close there, Neil, to adding to his tally just before he was replaced.
Really good take, lovely little feed in from Mark O'Hara into feet. He went again, but Ayunga didn't use him, he just rolled John Lundstrom, and it wasn't far wide. He was asking did Alan McGregor get a touch? I don't think he did, but a really good, what's that, how many minutes is that, Alistair, he's played?
79 almost.
79 minutes of real effective play from the big striker.
Yeah, it's been a really good acquisition for Stephen Robinson and St Mirren, as Rangers pick up on the right hand side through Tavernier. Tries to move away from O'Hara, but O'Hara's robbed him of possession, and forward he comes now. If St Mirren could get a second, that would be surely done and dusted as far as Rangers are concerned. as Grieve gets his first touches down the left-hand side. O'Hara then barged in the back by Tavernier.
It's a stone wall free kick.
I mean, if the one on Curtis Main 5 minutes ago was obvious, Neil, I mean, I don't know how you would possibly describe that one. I mean, that was the most obvious shove you've ever seen.
I'm not quite sure. Those last couple of fouls on Curtis Main and Mark O'Hara were as clear as you're going to get. I mean, if this goes all the way through to a goal, will that get dragged back?
It should do. Attacking phase of play. If that would constitute the beginning of it, you would imagine.
Wouldn't that sum things up for Rangers?
Indeed. Here's Kent, left-hand side. He's done well up against Strain. Maybe just shows too much of it to Fraser, then hits the deck and he goes to ground. I think he's going to be booked here. He is. Kevin Clancy feels that Ryan Kent has thrown himself to the deck there, looking for what might have been a penalty. Not sure if it was inside or outside the box. Either way, it's going to be a free kick to St Mirren. Rangers players surrounding the referee as Ryan Kent hit the deck there. Neil, what was your first? I know it's not a great angle, is it, for us?
Absolutely brilliant run, and this could throw up. I mean, if the referee's going to have a look at this could throw up that very thing that I was speaking about. Did they drag it back to that free kick with Mark O'Hara? But I think Ryan Kent has to hurdle the challenge. Is he impeded? I think he is. There's such a short space of grass left for him to get to when he shoves it past the challenge, and obviously it'll be looked at upon by Kevin Clancy here and the team in the VAR. This will be an interesting one, you know, because it's still the same phase of play where that free kick was in Mark O'Hara, Alistair.
Yeah, I think you're probably right on that front. I think Kerrigan's getting a view of it now in terms of the challenge on Ryan Kent. What was your thoughts on that, Kerrigan?
Yeah, I'm wondering whether the referee's going to give a penalty. It looks like there is contact. It doesn't look like it is a dive from Ryan Kent, so I wonder whether Rangers are about to be awarded a penalty here.
Well, that then raises a question, Alistair, doesn't it, about that free kick in the phase of play, because it remained in the Rangers jerseys possession. They worked it from right to left, down the side. Kent did really well. It was a really good run, you know.
Well, Kevin Clancy's coming across.
And we know what that means, Alistair.
Generally speaking,
now the fun begins.
It suggests that the referee's initial award is going to be changed. Across comes Kevin Clancy. He's getting grief from the St Mirren fans.
My thought was he was impeded, Alistair. That was because it was a great run, and the challenge gets nowhere near the ball, it seemed to me, and I think Kent has to take that action.
Across comes Alec Grieve to try and have a look at the VAR monitor as well. He's trying to give Kevin Clancy a bit of advice there. Fourth official's trying to wave him away. Players aren't allowed to come and look at the VAR monitor. Leanne and Michael in the studio have been having a look at it as well. What's your view, folks?
Yeah, it's an interesting one, Al. To be honest, in plain sight, I thought it was a penalty. I certainly thought it was a foul. We're looking at it back just now, and for me, there is the slightest of contact. And I think when you're running at the pace that Ryan Kent is, what I will say is it's never a dive.
Yeah.
I can say that, you know,
he
100%.
Impeded, doesn't he, Leanne? Yeah, I mean, he has to take evasive action.
It was a dive.
Kevin Clancy's given the penalty. Ryan Jack and Ryan Kent.
What's your thoughts, Leanne, Michael, on the actual free kick from Mark O'Hara, where the period of play builds up from there?
Do you know, Neil, I heard you talking about there, and I've got to be honest, I can't even remember it. I'd have to see it back. Right. But I was with Leanne. Well, I was not convinced about the penalty. It's very, very tight. But as soon as I saw it, I was like, even if this isn't a penalty, it was never a yellow card. Yeah. It was one of those instances. I think it's who's that actually comes across and tackles him? Was it O'Hara?
Yeah, I think it was Fraser.
It's his left leg, not his right leg that he leads with. It's his left leg, if anything, that catches him. But it is so tight.
Well, Rangers have a lifeline here. James Tavernier, the skipper, will step up and try and beat Trevor Carson to draw them level. Another moment of controversy with VAR involved. It's Tavernier, steps up, shot run up, scores. Rangers are level. Carson went the right way, but it was an excellent penalty from Tavernier, who tries to rouse the fans behind Trevor Carson's goal. But it's an interesting point, Neil, as you come back to that. I mean, we both saw it as a clear free kick to St Mirren. You'll remember that St Mirren had a goal taken off them here in the first weekend of with an infringement way back in the move. Yeah, and they will feel hard done by that has not been looked at itself, in the sense that it was in the lead up, the start of the attacking phase of play. But Rangers have got the goal. James Tavernier from the spot. It's St Mirren 1, Rangers 1, and we've got 6 minutes plus plenty of added on time to play here.
Yeah, we'll have plenty of time for either side to go and try and push and get a winner. But I mean, what I want to say is what a great penalty, because Trevor Carson does go the right way. It is a decent height if he gets a spring, but I mean, it's so well hit into the top corner. Lots and lots of pressure on that penalty, let me tell you, from James Tavernier, and he stepped up and he took it coolly, and he's given Rangers a real lifeline here. So they have got time to get themselves into this break with 3 points, but it's not going to be easy.
Morelos has gone down the edge of the penalty area. There's an offside flag up.
I tell you what, Kevin Clancy goes to his pocket there. I'm telling you, he goes to his pocket, and I think he's thinking about booking Morelos. I don't know if the guys in the studio can see that, but I'm telling you, Kevin Clancy looked like he was going to his pocket. Is he onside?
Well, we shall find out from perhaps Carradine, who's down pitch side as well, looking at the monitor.
I thought it was a dive. I thought it was a clear dive from Morelos.
I must say I didn't see the contact, too busy writing.
What are they talking about?
Summarising.
He's getting told to look at something.
Yeah, he is. Carradine, any insight here?
Not at the minute, Al, but I can agree with Neil's instinct. I thought that he was about to book Morelos. Just having a look just now, it's actually...
We know second yellows can't be looked at, so that's
there's a pull on. They're looking at a... It's not in the penalty box, so I actually don't know what they're looking at there.
Well,
there's a tub on Morelos' jersey, but
possibly that would have
outside.
been a red card then for denying an obvious goal scoring opportunity. That's a possibility there, but certainly it couldn't have been for a dive by Morelos, because that would have been a second yellow, which they don't look at. Anyway, play has resumed. There is nothing for Kevin Clancy to come and look at again, so it's 1-1, and there'll be plenty of debate about that over the course of the afternoon, as Rangers have clawed their way back into the game. They didn't look like they were going to be able to do anything from open play, but they have from the penalty spot got the award. Kevin Clancy, incidentally, also rescinding the yellow that was shown to Ryan Kent for simulation because of his initial award, accepting that it was wrong. So what have we got? 4 minutes plus. I would think there's going to be at least 6 minutes added on time here.
At least 5 or 6 minutes, you would think.
So let's say 10 minutes left to play in Paisley as Arfield runs into trouble and then clings on to Grieve, but it's picked up by Erhan, left hand side into the penalty area. It comes. Who's that coming in attacking? It was Bacchus, who, the substitute, arriving late, couldn't quite make a connection, comes back into the Rangers penalty, does come to Bacchus, and he slices it wide from 12 yards out, just couldn't wrap his foot around it, and the right footed shot goes wide of Alan McGregor's left hand post. St Mirren 1, Rangers 1. We've got a real grandstand finale on our hands here, Neil.
Yeah, you know, it was an acrobatic effort from Curtis Main before it finds its way to Bacchus. But you just feel that someone will get a match-winning opportunity here.
Here's Morelos, back to goal, 25 yards from goal, loses out though to Gallagher.
He's been poor today, Morelos.
He really has, hasn't he?
Yeah, he's really been poor, and I can see the captain frustrated with him as well.
Here is James Tavernier. Giovanni van Bronckhorst pointing forward, up to Scott Wright. It goes right, just trying to hold off Gallagher. It'll be a St Mirren throw-in. Gallagher doing well, good defending, forcing Scott Wright to knock it out of play. He's taken a sore one in the collision. It will be a St Mirren throw, just a few yards away from their own corner flag down on the left-hand side for the home side. Charles Dunn to take. Charles Dunn looking for options down this left-hand side, throws it long, looking for Main. Up goes Tavernier though ahead of him. Dunn having to backpedal, Scott Wright putting him under pressure. Dunn just knocks it down the line, he's done well. Main gets up early, beats Lundstrom in the jump. Sands is he dragged to the ground there by Alex Grieve. Well, home fans rise in unison, they're furious, feeling that Alex Grieve did nothing wrong there with James Sands. But it will be a free kick to Rangers with a couple of minutes of the 90 to go. Quickly taken by Lundstrom for Jack, just inside Rangers half. Jack has it out to the right hand side for Tavernier. Tavernier into the penalty area. Looks like it's too close to Trevor Carson. Comes out about 8 yards from his goal and gathers that nice and high under no real pressure. And it will remain St Mirren 1, Rangers 1.
Yeah, Tavernier's getting a lot of room out here, and that's because Scott Wright is not playing as a traditional winger now. He's sitting inside almost as a secondary 10.
Grieve gives chase, Sands first to it though on the edge of his own penalty area. Tavernier for Arfield, back to Lundstrom and back to Alan McGregor. beaten by Jonah Ayunga earlier in the game, but his side have managed to draw level through James Tavernier's 8th goal of the season. Another one from the penalty spot. Here's Morelos giving chase to Barisic's through ball. Off his line comes Trevor Carson, gathers that at the feet of Morelos, for whom it has been not the best day on his first start in the league this season, and he hasn't really convinced many as to why he should be in the starting lineup.
Nah, I think body language is something that we speak about Alfredo Morelos so much, and it's at times so poor.
Arfield's given it away to O'Hara, 25 yards from the Rangers goal, tried to squeeze it through for Grieve, it was blocked. Comes back to Tanser. Tanser with an inviting ball, but McGregor off his line. Sounds like there's going to be 8 minutes added on.
Wow.
We were told, we were advised that with the introduction of VAR that there would be significant amounts of added on time. Of course, most of it is actually for the
Leon King,
the head knock that Leon King took earlier in the game. Here is right into the feet of Tillman, couldn't bring that under control, manages to poke it back though to Kent. Kent about 30 yards from goal for Tillman once more. Tillman was taken out off the ball, and Kevin Clancy spotted that, and it will be a free kick.
9 minutes.
9 minutes, wow. 9 minutes of added on time, which we're into the start of right now. But Rangers have a free kick about 25 yards from goal, very much left of centre, almost in line with the outside edge of the penalty area, but it's certainly a chance to throw the ball into the box here, as St Mirren will look to defend and keep this one out. There's a player down, I think it's Ryan Strain, just inside his own penalty area, who'll need treatment potentially. Just been helped to his feet by Kevin Clancy, so no requirement for treatment as Alex Gogic prepares to come on. Rangers though will take the free kick first. It's Barisic, into the box it goes. Tillman rises, can't get there. O'Hara's first to it. Tavernier will retrieve on the right hand side, back to Jack. Jack takes a touch, plays it back to Tavernier, trying to get away from O'Hara, has to go back the way to Sands. Sands plays it square for Barisic, midway almost inside the St Mirren half. Ryan Kent was waiting for it. Strain was first to it, steps away from Kent, down the right hand side goes Strain. St Mirren coming forward looking for a potential winner. Cut out by Barisic. Barisic keeps it in but gives it away. Kent trying to win it back. Strain's done really well out there, but he's eventually run into trouble, and Rangers have it once more. Alex Gogic.
He looks done, doesn't he, Strain? He looks really tired. It was him that was down in the box,
Here's Kent, left hand side. Alex Gogic, as I say, waiting to come on for St Mirren. Kent still going, plays it through to Arfield. Arfield across the box.
It's a cutback required there for Ryan Kent. All the St Mirren players were dropping. It was a super run from Ryan Kent. Nice little slip pass into Arfield, and had he had the awareness just to drag it back, Ryan Kent was free and easy in the box. Yeah, it was intercepted well in the end by Dunn. Here comes St Mirren once more as the sun tries to Harris just got to run him there, Alistair. He had all the grass in the world to push it.
Here's Jack for Tavernier, right hand side, just outside the penalty area, cuts it across goal, comes all the way through to Kent. Kent lays it back for Arfield, 25 yards from goal. Shot takes a deflection, comes off a St Mirren body. Did Ryan Jack get a touch on it as well? Officials are undecided. Eventually the corner kick is awarded, much to the fury of the home fans here, and it will be a Rangers corner, right hand side, as the sun does come out in Renfrewshire at the close of play here.
Yeah, Ryan Strain's going up, he's going down, he's up and he's down, he's trying to eat into the clock, which I'm pretty sure that Kevin Clancy will just put a little stop on that. Strain will be replaced here by Gogic for the final 6.5 minutes of added on time. And Robbie Ewer, the young striker, is going to come on as well in injury time for Rangers. He made his debut against Queen of the South in the League Cup and scored within a couple of minutes of the game kicking off, and this will be his first league appearance. Robbie Ewer, and he's got a chance to make a real name for himself. He's coming on for Borna Barisic as Rangers chase the 3 points. The point really is no use to them, in all truth, although they'd certainly take it ahead of losing the game, as Gogic also comes on, as I mentioned. James Tavernier then lining up. Yeah, he just absolutely overruled the coaching staff there.
Tavernier, right hand side, swings it into the back post, headed down and cleared by Erhan, who's switched play out to the right hand side. Forward come St Mirren, it's Fraser looking to find Bacchus. Bacchus takes it down with the arm. Play continues as Jack makes the challenge. It will be given ultimately as a handball. Kevin Clancy awarding the free kick to St Mirren, and Rangers move things quickly. Tavernier picks up, fires it forward, looking for yours. Charles Dunn's in there with a header. Back to his goalkeeper, Trevor Carson. We've played 4 minutes of added on time, 5 more to play, and it's St Mirren 1, Rangers 1.
Last throw of the dice from Giovanni van Bronckhorst, putting Robbie Ure up there. Kent's going to be asked now to play in that wing back role almost. I mean, there's so many attacking players on the pitch now for Rangers.
Lundstrom again manhandling Alex Grieve there, but nothing given as Curtis Main picks up. Looks like he's in an offside position, which he is. Flag goes up. Rangers will have the free kick. We're halfway through the 9 minutes of added on time. St Mirren 1, Rangers 1. It would be a terrific point for St Mirren, who felt they might have got all 3 at one stage. They might yet. Rangers desperate though for the victory to try and keep them within what you might call touching distance of Celtic, although Celtic in all honesty look untouchable just at the moment. Here's Tavernier for Rangers, right hand side, plays it to Arfield, into the feet of Jack, back for Tavernier, just manages to scoop it out for Ure at the edge of the penalty area, knocks it back to Arfield. Now it's Jack, 25 yards from goal, trying to find room to create something. It's Kent, they're having to go back the way though, Rangers. Now it's Morelos, left hand side of the penalty area, just about gets through one challenge, gets the shot away, but it's well blocked there. St Mirren body, I think it's Fraser, he's gone down and stayed down. Arfield has it for Rangers. Play continues, Jack now, Lundstrom outside of him. Right hand side, it's Lundstrom into the penalty area, that's what he was attempting. Alex Grieve blocks the cross, throw into Rangers. 4 minutes of added on time left. Throw in taken by Lundstrom, tries to get it to Tavernier, couldn't bring it under control, and it's out for a throw into St Mirren.
Yeah, it's all becoming a wee bit desperate. No composure on this. I know there's sometimes a point where you're trying to get as many bodies into the box as possible, but you still have to have some sort of build-up play in an area where you can put the ball into the box, and it's becoming a wee bit rushed.
We've played 6 minutes now of added on time, 3 to go. Tavernier gets his head to it, Morelos picks up, turns to his left hand side. Now it's Kent, 25 yards from goal, up against Fraser, onto the left foot, back onto the right. Ryan Kent, can he find room for the shot? He's curled one, great save by Carson, comes back to Tavernier, low shot comes in.
The face there.
Yeah, it's come off, I think it was Scott Wright in the face, and eventually it's cleared away by St Mirren.
What a good save. Ryan Kent chopping and chopping again, finds the angle. This time his effort better than earlier's effort. It's right on target, hit with ferocity. That's a good ball as well.
Lundstrom back into the penalty area, headed away by a St Mirren head. Rangers trying to keep it alive. It's Jack who picks up. Bacchus couldn't get there. Jack out to Kent, left hand side. Kent tries to curl it in, but it's blocked brilliantly out there. St Mirren working so hard to try and preserve the point they have here just at the moment. They lost out on 2 points late on against St Johnstone during the week. They don't want to miss out on one this afternoon, having been in a leading position earlier on through Jonah Ayunga, pegged back by a James Tavernier penalty. They've got 2 minutes to hold on here. Rangers pushing for a winner.
You just feel there'll be one other good chance for either side. You would back against either side getting one, but you just have to feel the weight and numbers that Rangers have forward that they'll get something.
Here's Gogic for St Mirren, under pressure from Ure, knocks the ball out of play over on the far side. Just over a minute left in Paisley. St Mirren 1, Rangers 1. Rangers could end the day 9 points behind Celtic if things don't change. As Arfield plays it square to Lundstrom, still inside their own half. They've got a minute, either side have got a minute to find a winner. Lundstrom on the halfway line, has to go back to Sands. Kent's out there on the far side, that's where the ball goes from Sands. Midway now inside the St Mirren half, looks up, sends it into the edge of the penalty area, away by Dunn.
Really good, Charles Dunn. Responsibility.
Lundstrom and Grieve go and contest the high ball, nothing given as Grieve hits the deck. I think on that occasion Kevin Clancy did call it correctly. Lundstrom gets it to Tavernier, now it's Tillman, right hand side, up against Dunn, he will win inside a corner kick. It is the last chance surely for Rangers to take the 3 points. Everyone forward barring Alan McGregor, as James Tavernier on the right hand side scored the equaliser. Can he somehow provide a winner here? Tavernier's corner into the far
free
post.
header.
Ryan Jack header into the arms of Trevor Carson, and that has got to be that surely for Rangers. It was, as Neil says, a completely free header, but he couldn't angle it away from the goalkeeper, and it remains St Mirren 1, Rangers 1.
7 yards out, it is dropping onto his head like a dream for Ryan Jack. His eyes must have lit up there, but he gets zero power in it.
Trevor Carson's long clearance upfield breaks for Lundstrom. Can they get it forward once more? It's Tavernier, clips it
in
up.
here.
Scott Wright's got his head to it. Morelos might have been in had he not touched that, Scott Wright, but he wasn't to know. Don't think he got the shout, and it's through safely into the arms of Trevor Carson, and we are beyond the 9 minutes of added on time, and there it is. The St Mirren fans rise in applause of their team. They've earned themselves a point, and they really have earned that. They led through Jonah Ayunga, who scored at the start of the second half, tapping in on the rebound after his initial shot was brilliantly saved by Alan McGregor. Rangers huffed and puffed and eventually got themselves level in the game thanks to a James Tavernier penalty after Ryan Kent went down in the penalty. Initially he was penalised for a dive, but VAR advised Kevin Clancy to go and look at it once more. He rescinded the yellow card and awarded the penalty, and James Tavernier stroked it in for the equaliser. They pushed for a winner. Kent had a shot really well saved by Trevor Carson, and in the dying seconds Ryan Jack had a header which he should have done better with, but it was tamely into the arms of Trevor Carson. The boos you hear are for the officials as they troop off. Kevin Clancy goes down the tunnel. Who on earth would be a referee these days? But St Mirren have got a terrific point, having been beaten in the last 6 meetings in the league by Rangers. They have got themselves a point today. Rangers, though, a point does not really do them any good. They could well end up further behind Celtic than the 7 points they started the day. Currently it will be 6, but Celtic at home to Ross County with the 3 o'clock kickoff. Stick with us for that. It's been an enthralling game in Paisley, and it finished St Mirren 1, Rangers 1.